Swear or affirm.
House Speaker Mike Johnson administered the oath to Adelita Grijalva.
Congratulations, you're now a member of the 19th Congress.
Grijalva won a special election to fill the House seat of her late father, Raul Grijalva. But Speaker Johnson waited more than 50 days to swear her in, and she did not let that slide.
This is an abuse of power.
She then became the decisive signature on a petition to force a vote on releasing the full Epstein files. That vote will likely happen early in December. GOP Representative Michelle Fishbach.
Oversight is already releasing many of those files. As a matter of fact, I believe they've done tens of thousands of them, but I believe this morning they did another 20,000 files. So they are being released.
Those newly released emails she's talking about are calling into question what President Trump did or did not know about Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. Democrat Jim McGovern.
The bottom line is every single Republican will go on record, and you will have to make clear whether you're on the side of a pedophile or whether you're on the side of the victims.
The White House has pushed back on those newly released emails, accusing Democrats of creating a fake narrative to smear the president. Right now on the House floor, lawmakers are moving forward with the whole process to get to a final vote on the funding bill to reopen the government. If it passes as expected, it will immediately go to the president's desk for his signature. And while that means federal employees will get back to work, it doesn't necessarily mean air travel will bounce back so fast. Correspondent Carter Evans is in Los Angeles.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy has said he's not just going to all of a sudden ramp everything back up to full speed. He wants to make sure that those air traffic control towers are fully staffed to be able to handle the number of passengers so that they're not under the pressure that they have been in that caused this whole situation.
And with an end to the shutdown on the horizon, there likely will be a scramble to push out key federal data reports that have been delayed, including jobs reports. But Chicago Federal Reserve Bank President Austin Goolsbee says there are concerns just how accurate they'll be.
They were quite likely to ask people on this certain week that was 2 months ago, did you have a job? And just the people's recollections and the answers for information that's older are going to be a little noisier. And so I do think that's a concern.
Checking Wall Street today, the Dow closed up 326 points. The Nasdaq today dropped 6 points at the close. S&P 500 gained 4. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Coming up, what Washington business owners are saying about rising taxes. That is after Nate Connors at the Real Time Traffic Desk.
Thanks, Aaron. All of our usual mid-afternoon backups are in place. No surprises yet. Seattle to Everett, Bellevue to Everett are still looking good, taking you 40 minutes. Linwood to Seattle, a 20-minute drive. You're all clear until you reach Northeast 50th, where you'll hit the brakes and you're slow through downtown. North 5 now jams up at the West Seattle Bridge. You'll slowly thin out as you head through downtown. Southbound 405, thick from Southeast 8th and Bellevue to Cold Creek Parkway. Then you're going to break free. Bellevue to Renton, 25 minutes. Seattle to Federal Way, give yourself 35 minutes. It's slow from Inner Urban Avenue to South 260th. And Renton to Puyallup, southbound 167 to a 45-minute commute. You're crowded between Renton into Auburn and then again south of State Route 18 into Sumner. KIRO Newsradio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle. KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM. Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. Washington businesses say it is getting tougher to do business in the state. KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery has more.
A new survey of more than 400 employers shows confidence is slipping as taxes climb. The Association of Washington Business reports 65% of respondents now rank taxes as their top concern. 3 out of 4 businesses say they've been hit by new sales and B&O tax hikes, and more than half are passing those costs on to customers. Employers also cite rising healthcare costs, regulations, and tariffs as added pressure. Nearly 4 in 10 expect a recession within a year.
Up to 10,000 low-income Washington children will have access to free preschool each year, starting in 2026. The Ballmer Group's Andy Smith announcing a major gift to the state's early childhood education and assistance program.
At Ballmer Group, we focus on helping kids move up the economic ladder.
Governor's office says grants from the Ballmer Group could top $1 billion over the next decade. With every ballot drop, Katie Wilson draws closer to becoming Seattle's next mayor. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey has more.
Speaking to reporters after Tuesday night's ballot drop, Katie Wilson said she may not achieve all the changes she promised on time.
We're not going to be able to deliver, everything that we want, everything that everyone wants, as fast as everyone wants it.
And she expects forces inside City Hall will try to slow her down.
And we're going to come up against obstacles.
Wilson leads Mayor Bruce Harrell by 1,350 votes. An additional 3,000 votes remain uncured or won't be counted because they were too late. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Updated results are due within the hour. Shake up in Pullman. The Seattle Times reports Washington State University has fired athletic director Ann McCoy. She stepped into that role in 2024. McCoy has worked at Wazoo for more than 20 years. Weather now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Cloudy skies right now, incoming rain. Tomorrow looks rainy and windy. Right now, 55 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Oh, the countdown will begin this Saturday morning at 9 and again Sunday morning at 9 right here on Maine's most listened to radio station, I'm not going to say all that How do I know they're the most listened to station?
Casey. Oh, classic. Still living on. Oh, that's not lost on you kids out there. They don't know who Casey Kasem is.
I figured out who he is.
Tom 40 hits in America today. All right. Well, it's the John Curley Show. New chair we got in here, huh?
Is that what that is? Everything's off. Hang on.
What do you mean they're off? Hang on, everybody. You ready?
I ran into a printer with no paper in it. No, give me 2 seconds here. Hang on.
Oh, my God. Anything new?
Okay, now you can go.
Oh, did I begin the news? There we go. There we go. All right, I have in my hand what I believe. No staple? We're cutting back?
I'm telling you.
Oh, my God. Quick, fire Nate again.
Oh, you think that's funny, huh?
This news.
Oh,
We've all been there. Look at me. I got whacked after like 8 weeks. They brought me back.
Yeah, right. See, we came back. That's the joy of it.
They even ran a PSA.
Yeah. They apologized
Apologizing for hiring me. You never heard that? You remember that, Andrew?
Oh, I remember the story, yes.
Hi, this is Carl Gardner. We heard you loud and clear. You want your news in the morning. You don't want stories. That's for later. So we heard you. We've got your emails, your phone calls. The fact that you cut my brake lines was going a little bit too far. And poisoning my dog and throwing a brick through the window was something like that. So starting on Monday, Dave Ross, news you can, voices and names you can trust. It's like, oh,
want to hear it?
Yeah, let's hear it again. Here we go.
This is Carl Gardner, KIRO Radio's general manager.
Well, hold on, one second. At least when they let you go, they didn't run for 48 hours straight. An apology for hiring you.
No.
Here we go.
All right. This is Carl Gardner, KIRO Radio's general manager, with important news for KIRO listeners. A lot of you have called and written us lately, and your message is clear. You want more news first thing in the morning. You love KIRO Radio's talk shows later in the day, but first thing in the morning, you say, just get me up and get me to work, on time and in the know. Okay. Message heard and point taken. So starting right now, KIRO Radio is all about the news in early mornings. Delivered by two of the Northwest's best informed, most reliable newscasters, Dave Ross and Linda Thomas. Start each day with KIRO Radio and you'll hear all the news you need to know with extra depth and insight from Dave and Linda on the most important stories, plus traffic and weather on the 7s as you head into work. More stories, more interesting, more informative than ever. Seattle's Morning News, now with Dave Ross and Linda Thomas. Tomorrow morning, 5 to 9, on Seattle's news and conversation station, KIRO Radio 97.3 FM. And thank you for listening.
A 60-second spot.
Did he issue an apology then when you came back 8 weeks later?
No, I didn't come back 8 weeks later.
Oh, I thought you said they rehired you 8 weeks.
No. They fired me within 8 weeks. Then they had to pay me out on the contract, which I didn't realize they would get paid out. Then they tried to offer me another contract to have come back to break that contract to pay me less. So
Move on.
I don't care. So anyway, They didn't run a PSA. You know who's most upset about that? Who has the biggest heart in this building? The most loving, biggest heart in this building?
Kathy.
Ursula. Yeah.
Ursula was so upset by that.
Yeah.
She called, I think she called him at home, called him, why are you doing that? That's so mean. Yeah, she was really upset about it.
How'd you feel about that?
I didn't even hear it. I wasn't listening. I didn't find out about it till later on, and then Felix Pinnell sent it to me, and that's become our inside joke. How about that? I mean, that's historic that you get a general manager on apologizing for how horrible the show was.
I've never heard of anything like it.
Crazy, right? All right, let's get to the. Look what you started, Nate. You ate up a lot of my time.
Sorry.
Trying to get to the news. This day in history, Nate eats up 8 minutes of the show. Let's see. Oh, another ballot drop happening at 4 o'clock. All right, we will say goodbye to the penny and also talk about the fact that 1 penny saved one man's life. Well, the bullet went through his nose and came out his ear, but he's still alive, but thanks to the penny. The penny's gone. Officially. Plus, a TikTok influencer is ordered to pay $1.7 million for destroying a manager's marriage. Jim Walsh is going to join us, our state representative, chair of the Washington State GOP, which I like to refer to as the New Jersey Reds, or Generals.
Washington Generals.
Always the losing team.
Right.
Yeah. On the home against the Harlem Globetrotters.
They're New Jersey Reds.
New Jersey, they're in the New Jersey Generals or the
Washington.
Whatever. Fire yourself. Katie Wilson, likely to be the Seattle mayor, and for everybody's like, why are you so gleeful? We had her on. She was excited. She was at a bar. We're going to let's dig into some of your plans. Besides, we're going to get a chance to check see if socialism works.
That's right.
Plus the Trump roundup. Boy, everybody's talking about the Epstein stuff now. Oh, my God. CNN's going, look at this. New release. Epstein mentions Trump multiple times in emails. Boy, will we find out that Donald Trump's got a thing for the ladies? There's some shocking news. Plus, also, the BBC director, we didn't get to this yesterday, has been fired after they doctored a Trump documentary. It's a great shock. Crazy sound. So the new president of Syria, who's got kind of a shady background to begin with, now smells a lot like Trump. We'll tell you why. And also, John's sister's handwriting rules. Oh, the pickleball. Finally, we know about the pickleball rules. Thank you for that one. And then a great story about a man who was accused of something he didn't do. The media ran with the story. And every time you search his name, all of this total bull shows up, and he can't get out from underneath a story that was never true. So he's going to join us, talk about how he's trying to, was it 6 years ago?
Yeah, 2020, almost 6.
Rebuild a life. Also, why is it when you used to watch, if you ever watch highlights from old baseball games from the 30s, and 40s, why were men wearing ties and hats?
Huh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Great question.
Well, thank you all.
I do not know.
All right, Teeny. Well, thank you. That's why you're going to have to stick around. 63-year-old man talks to a doll in a jar.
I play pickleball sometimes.
I know you do, Jacob. I was thinking, and I wrote it, so I'm going to read it, so I'm sorry I'm not looking at the camera. There are truisms in life that cannot be altered, affected, legislated away, protested with handmade signs or homemade bombs. No screaming and no burning can stop these truisms. They are indestructible. We've had them now. You can rage against them all you want, but here they are. Life is unfair. And each individual acts in their own self-interest. Let's start with life being unfair. And nature doesn't necessarily care, although nature will make adjustments occasionally for evolutionary sakes. Like, for instance, in Finland, when they get less snow, there's a type of owl known as the tawny owl. Normally, the feathers are gray and white in order to hide, to camouflage it a little bit. But with less snow, the feathers grow red and brown, so it can hide in the landscape. So in that way, nature does evolve in order to try to level the playing field. But in most cases, nature doesn't really have a hand in any of this. To show you how unfair things are with nature, the firstborn child to a family has a higher IQ than the siblings. Sorry, everybody. Middle children, you know who you are. If one twin weighs slightly more than the lighter twin, the fatter baby is smarter. If you ever wanted to climb a mountain and take on somebody like Ed Viesturs from Bainbridge Island, good luck to you, because for some reason, Ed Viesturs, nature in this effect, has made his lungs greater, larger, with 40% capacity more than the average human. Let's say mountain climbing isn't your thing and you'd like to race somebody, say in a 100-yard dash. You look over to the left and it's Usain Bolt. Well, good luck, because you've got 50% slow twitch and 50% fast twitch. You are no match against the highly abnormal Mr. Bolt, who has 80% fast twitch muscle. That's nature. It's unfair, but that's the reality. So what happens is we try to create a leveling playing field, and with that we bring the government in to make things fair. But at what cost? That is the question. Was it unfair that the men that fought in the Revolutionary War were disabled and couldn't work? Sure. So the government passed a law to give to the injured. This was the first U.S. entitlement ever created. The program, the experts said, would apply to about 2,000. 2,000 people would apply, and it would cost about $115,000. That's back in 1797. But by the end of 1918, 28,000 people had signed up, and the cost went from $300,000 to $1.8 million. That's why the truism is that life is not fair, and it cannot be somehow changed by creating a leveling playing field. Now, number two, people act in their own self-interest, which leads us back. So lawmakers wanted to keep their jobs, so that's their own self-interest. So they expanded not just the disabled to virtually all Revolutionary War soldiers, including volunteers, militia members, their wives, regardless of disability or income. Even though they never fought, some even got some of the money. So it began, and the government started to make things fair with the best intentions without remembering that life is not fair and people act in their own self-interest. Now, more than 60% of us receive some money from the government, and it grows larger and larger every year. We now spend $4.1 trillion out of the $6.8 trillion that the government collects from all of us. And there's no turning back. Lawmakers want to keep their jobs. They're acting in their own self-interest. Law number 2 of truisms. And we all want the benefits, acting again in our own self-interest. 236 years ago, we tried to make life fairer for the Revolutionary War soldiers that had been injured in the war, and we're still doing it today. And it doesn't stop in any way. Which leads to another truism, that there are only two things in life that are certain: death and taxes. So there we go. And so it begins, and there's no way it's ever going to end, because we will just keep giving people more and more stuff because life is unfair. And man, we can't afford it. All right? Got it? Questions, comments, concerns?
You say there's no way to fix it.
How do you fix it?
I don't know.
Well, how do you fix the fact that one kid is a pound heavier? There's twins. So the one kid comes out smarter than the other kid. What are you going to do? How would you fix that?
Well, that's nature, so that's...
Right. And nature has rule over everything. So what are you going to do? It's unfair. It's unfair. Life is unfair in some ways. It's unfair that some kid is born into a rich family with two caring parents, and some other kid comes into the world at the exact same time in Calcutta, where the parent realizes we have to send that kid out in order to beg for the family. So we break both of their ankles and hobble them so that they can be on a street corner, unable to walk, but they'll have the benefit of sitting there, and maybe somebody will take pity on them and give them a couple of coins. That's unfair. It's unfair that the one kid gets one thing and the other gets another. It's just simply unfair. But we have, and again, the government wanting to make sure that they keep their jobs, will give favors to one group or another group. It keeps expanding and expanding and expanding. It's always expanding. Entitlements are constantly expanding. Well, why to him and not to me? Okay, to you too. Why to this person and not that person? Okay, to that person as well. Right? So
if you had a magic wand,
Oh.
And can change the way that government functions. Would you?
Oh, I'd wish for 3 more wishes then. So you can't stop it. You can't stop it because, like, look at the battle that's happening or that was happening. I mean, it was a false battle. It wasn't real. But so in 2020 and 2021, under the Biden administration, they increased the tax subsidies that would go to people during COVID, which included people making $600,000 a year. They could certainly afford it, but they just kept expanding it, And now they shut down the government for 40 days because the Republicans are like, look, you said when you wrote this that this thing would expire on the 31st of December this year. You wrote it in the law. We didn't vote for any of it. You said it's going to expire, and we'll go back to funding prior to what we did during the emergency COVID. And they're like, no, we don't want to return it. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. You can't stop it. It just goes and goes and goes because who wants to take anything back? They don't ever want to reduce anything. As soon as you're trying to reduce something, well, then you're throwing grandma over a cliff or something. Even Ronald Reagan, right, who wanted to reduce the size of the government, was only able to cut entitlement increases by 1.4% in his 8 years. It was growing rapidly. And when the 1960s, when all of a sudden the government had all this money, oh, let's give groups this group and that group and this group. Let's give everybody money. Everybody's going to get money. All get money. You can't. There's no cutting back on the thing until finally we as citizens have to say, I'm going to make a sacrifice for my kids and my grandkids. I won't take that money. I won't accept it. And you vote for people that says we will not be giving money to people if you have Social Security and you're making a certain amount of money. Yes, you paid into it, but good for you. You know what? You don't get it, or you're only getting a little bit of it. But for like somebody, like my dad used to hate the fact. He's like, why are they sending me a check? We're giving me a check. He gave it away to some charity. He said, I don't need it. But it was written in there, so he just kept taking it. It's not until this generation or the next generation realizes I'm going to make a sacrifice for my kids, and I'm not going to ask the government to do something for me. So then, therefore, the debt slowly starts to reduce. If not, we're just asking our kids to pay for all of these goodies, right? That's what happens. There we go.
If you could uncheck the check the I do not accept my Social Security payment box, would you?
And send it where?
I don't know. Just put it back in the pile.
Not unless they fix the gigantic, huge fire hose of money pouring out somewhere else. Because they always say, well, if you want, you could. Because they've said to other billionaires, you could send the money back. Well, Buffett was always saying, well, my secretary pays higher taxes than I do, which is total. Man, I wish I could curse on this show. So people say to Buffett, then if you want to give more money, give the Treasury will always take more money. Well, that's not fair unless everybody else does it. Somebody has to start. All right, here's Nate taking a look at traffic. Nathan.
Thanks, John. ProSculpt has our update. Seattle to Everett and Bellevue to Everett are both 45-minute commutes. North 5 filling in between Northgate and Linwood now. North 405, you're filling in between Kirkland and Bothell. Both routes, though, your drivers are close to freeway speeds here. Everett to Marysville is a 10-minute trip. Linwood to Seattle is up to a half hour. Your hefty backup starts near Northeast 50th in the downtown. Both of our lake bridges are all clear. Let's see, South 405, you're heavy between Southeast 8th and Cold Creek Parkway. Bellevue to Renton, plan on about 35 minutes. Seattle to Federal Way, 40, you're packed now at Interurban down to State Route 516. And Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway, 45-minute commute. Again, you're pretty crowded between Renton and Sumner with a little break there in Auburn. ProSculpt, the one-day permanent fat loss and skin tightening solution for men and women offered by New Skin Med Spa in Bellevue. Book your free consultation at prosculpt.com. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
All right. Imagine it's the middle of the winter, it's freezing outside, and you're cozy inside, and then all of a sudden, I don't know if it'll make that noise, but it's the heating system suddenly stops. Okay, you want to fix it? That's going to be expensive. Replace it? Oh, boy. Several thousands of dollars days later, and you probably don't have some heats for a while. So best thing to do, let's plan ahead. It's John Curley. I'm talking to you about my friends over there, Home Comfort Alliance. They've said it best, and it is never a better time right now to upgrade a heating and cooling system because Well, you're going to save some money. One, there are federal tax credits that can save you up to $2,000, plus they're going to expire on the 31st of December. Two, there are utility rebates that's also being offered, $2,500. That's also ending soon. And then they've got a warehouse sale, a clearance sale, 25 to 75% off air conditioners, heat pumps, and furnaces, you name it. It's all there for you. Plus, the fact that there's 18 months, 0% financing. That's also a little incentive for you. So every system is warranted. It's ready for immediate installation. If your system is 12 years or older, replacing it now is going to probably be the best thing to do. When it comes to heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, only one place to call. That's HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan, presented by Carter Subaru.
It is by far one of the worst non-freeway choke points we have. Getting into Snohomish every afternoon. You know what I'm talking about. But relief is on the way. A new bridge and widening project is already starting. This is Sully. I'll have the story Thursday morning on Seattle's Morning News.
Get all of Sully's choke points at mynorthwest.com and the KIRO Newsradio app.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Ma, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotions. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotions, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. That's why they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $25 a month. And if you're a business owner, you could really save a fortune. Dial pound 250, say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. Everything you need and nothing you don't.
Cold is leaking and rocks are moving and mold is creeping and water seeping in. It's hard to be a homeowner, we know.
Without American Crawl Space and Pest Services, it is hard to be a homeowner. Dave Ross here. American Crawl are the heroes to call for insulation and pest issues because in addition to their great reviews and decades of experience, they also give out the most PSE insulation rebates of any insulation company in the state.
American Crawl, the heroes you call.
Get your free inspection at AmericanCrawl.com.
With football season comes cooler weather, so if you need new windows and doors, don't drop the ball. Steve Rabel here. Call on locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington to tackle your project. Their wide selection of windows and doors always beats the competition, and they'll give you top-notch customer service with no trick plays. Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Go to PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
The stock market's on fire. AI stocks are performing at all-time levels. We hope you, like many of our investors, have taken advantage of it. A famous man once said, buy low, sell high. There's also $8 trillion of cash sitting on the sidelines. Investors are either scared or they don't know where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares profit with our investors. We've been doing it for 19 years, averaging double-digit returns with zero investor losses. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital and invest in our family of funds. From a 3-year investment with double-digit returns to only a 90-day commitment returning 7%. We also accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Jason Rance here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn from None Better Tax Resolution. So you and I have talked before about the folks who think they can do this themselves. And again, I imagine there are a lot of people who are saying, well, new administration, fewer staff members, now I truly can get it done.
Really, in this situation, I do feel really bad for the taxpayer because here you're getting a notice. You call the IRS, you're going to be on hold for 45 minutes to an hour. And so getting through is going to be more difficult. And when you do get through, you're going to be talking to people that are not as well trained as they have been in the past.
Which makes it even easier for them to take advantage even if it's not intended, against the person who owes taxes.
I've heard it said that they just will make up something because they want to respond to the taxpayer. And people are going to get some really bad information and they're not going to know.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, call Greg Nunn. Nunn Better Tax Resolution, 425-947-1967, or Google NUNN. Nunn Better Tax Resolution.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. A clear message today from many House Democrats.
Shame on you. I'm a hell no on this bill.
Representative Pramila Jayapal of Washington there criticizing a compromise funding bill to reopen the government.
Trump and his Republican cult of followers in Congress have unleashed shameful crisis of cruelty and corruption on the American people.
Washington Republican Congressman Michael Baumgartner disagrees.
To drag the American people through a government shutdown, to not pay TSA agents, to put military pay at risk, and to put WIC and food for the most needy at risk because you want a policy change. This is a terrible way to run the country.
It appears Republicans do have the votes to get this bill passed tonight. President Trump says he will sign it. There was a sharp rise in the number of arsons across Seattle last month. KIRO News Radio's Frank Lenzi reports.
Police tell the Seattle Times 33 arsons were reported in October. That's the highest monthly total since 2020. Some of them were in South Seattle, including a string of 8 set in one night from North Beacon Hill to Mount Baker. Police are trying to figure out how many of all these fires are connected. They've made 25 arrests on suspicion of arson this year. 6 of those arrests were in October. Frank Lenzi, KIRO News Radio.
Your coffee run could hit a snag tomorrow when thousands of Starbucks baristas plan to strike. KIRO 7 TV's Dee Dee Sun.
It is happening on one of the company's busiest days of the year, Red Cup Day. Baristas say they will strike if the company can't finalize that labor contract. Starbucks says it's disappointed the workers authorized to strike instead of bargaining further.
Union says the strike will hit stores in more than 25 cities nationwide starting at 4 p.m. Company says only a handful of locations will be impacted, and it adds Starbucks is committed to bargaining in good faith. An Alaska Airlines crew is being praised for saving a Navy veteran's life mid-flight. Liana Rupert tells KIRO 7 TV she suffered a seizure on a flight from Austin to Seattle.
When I woke up, I had a bunch of flight attendants looking down at me, and I was holding an oxygen tank.
Rupert says she has suffered from seizures since she was injured while on active duty. Takes us to 3:32, and we have Nate Connors now with the real-time traffic desk.
Thanks, Aaron. Let's see. This report brought to us by the Seattle International Auto Show. Seattle to Everett, Bellevue to Everett are 45, 50-minute commutes. I-5 is now slow from Lake City Way into Linwood. 405, you're slow between 520 and 527 up there in Canyon Park. Linwood to Seattle is going to take you a half hour. We're starting to slow there in Shoreline between about Northeast 175th and 145th, where maintenance work just wrapped up, so that'll start to thin out. And then it's heavy again from the U District about Northeast 50th in the downtown. North 5, heavy approaching the West Seattle Bridge in the downtown. Southbound 405, you're thick from Southeast 8th and Bellevue to Coal Creek Parkway. Bellevue to Renton, you're pushing a half hour. Seattle to Federal Ways at 40 minutes. Pretty heavy from Interurban Avenue all the way down to 516. And Tacoma to Olympia, you're looking good this afternoon at just 35 minutes. See 'em, touch 'em, drive 'em at the Seattle International Auto Show presented by BECU, Lumen Field Event Center, November 14 through 16. Discover your drive, seattleautoshow.com. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Thank you, Nate. Your forecast now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Cloudy skies right now. We have incoming rain. The showers will persist into tomorrow. It'll also be breezy on Thursday. Right now, 57 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Home Comfort Alliance when it comes to heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. Only one place to call, that's Home Comfort Alliance. A little bit of breaking news, but make it sound official.
Is it election breaking news?
Yes. Aaron, I believe you have some numbers.
Yes. We have new election results in the mayor's race for Seattle. 1,976 votes now separate Katie Wilson from Bruce Harrell.
Oh, that's right, Katie.
That is within the 2,000 margin that would trigger an automatic recount. I mean, we're talking like 24 votes away from potential recount or not. That is crazy.
There's still a lot of ballots left to be cured. Right?
So I think as of yesterday or a couple days ago, there was 15 to 1,700 ballots that were still having some signature issues. Those could be cured depending on which way those go. It could get it over 2,000. Could be under. I mean, we're right there though. Yeah. We're right there. Either way, Katie Wilson should be feeling good today.
Yeah, even if they went in there and recounted and everything, looking for problems, still far enough ahead. Right?
Yeah. Yep.
And so many people here at KIRO like, I can't believe you're so joyful. I said it before. I said, if you want slow socialism, you go with the traditional Seattle way. If you want to put your foot on the gas and go all in and see if we can redistribute wealth and still have prosperity, then you go with socialism. Socialism in the new term. Not production, not the government taking a means of production, but just this idea that we're just going to tax the rich. We're going to give it to the poor. The poor are not going to be poor anymore, which I don't understand how that works. And then somehow the rich are going to stand there and just let you keep beating them over the head with a big club. Vote for me. I said, let's see it. Let's try it. The thing, and even Ursula's like, why are you so joyful? Even Nicole Thompson, why are you so? Because I said, listen, it's an experiment. Do it as an experiment. And then like, well, you don't live here. You're not going to experience the experiment.
Sure you do. I mean...
Well, we will. We'll all be affected by it, right?
The motorcycle was stolen in Seattle.
That's right, on Sunday.
You work in Seattle. You primarily eat, drink, and, socialize in Seattle.
I know that, Joe. I'm just allowing myself to have some cognitive dissonance here so I can believe that it doesn't affect me. It does affect, because, look, if the businesses leave, then how does KIRO Radio get revenue, right? If you tax these businesses to the extent that they leave or they don't spend money on advertising, yes, certainly we're all affected by it. It's not like I'm breathing a different air. I just thought maybe we would all suffer for a couple of years under socialism, and then we wouldn't have it come back again. Then we would say, okay, this sucks. We're not going to do this again.
Well, don't you think, saying that she's going to, switch Seattle to socialism light officially is giving the mayor quite a bit of power that, she's not going to walk in and be able to change everything.
No, but it's Katie Wilson, and who will be working with Katie Wilson. It's not like Katie comes in and is like, okay, I got 40 years of experience here. I know what I'm doing. Here's what I want, this and that. You go over here, you do this and you do that, right? A lot of these really strong mayors either are just, have got tons of experience. They understand how stuff works. A little something here, a little there, work it around, right? You come in as a complete neophyte on this stuff. You're going to have people go, here's what we want to do here. Do this over here. You try that over there. So it's, who does she come in with her? Is it part of the Democratic Socialist of America? Are they the socialists that are going to be coming in there and telling her, yeah, do this and do that and do this, and this? And she goes, okay, well, that seems to make a pretty good idea. Okay, we'll try that. Well, who's behind her?
Right. And even the new King County executive, who essentially is of the similar kind of socialist light platform, but he has Brad Smith from Microsoft on his transition.
I would want a seat at the table too.
Right.
If I were Brad Smith or I was running some major corporation, I want to sit there and find out how you're going to screw me.
Or maybe talk you out.
How's that going to happen now? Okay, now how far do I have to bend over, and what do I have to do to save this? You want to be at the table. You don't want to just have them take the table and hit you over the head with it.
Well, and certainly being at the table, you can always say, hey, if I don't like what you're serving, I can walk away. That's not that difficult.
Right. And Bellevue, it's slightly different. King County, right? They can screw you in Seattle, they can screw you in Bellevue. And where's Microsoft going to go? But here, the perfect example yesterday. I was thinking Seattle Times had the story. We have the most expensive, the most expensive restaurants, right? And I think they were looking at chain restaurants and Olive Garden stuff. We're 17% higher. We're higher than New York. I was in Chesapeake Bay, and I thought that the guy cared sitting next to me. I was like, oh, my God, can you believe I just ate a steak and had a non-alcoholic beer and some broccoli? And I'm going to have myself some cheesecake for $63. You know what this would cost me back in Seattle? The guy's like, I don't know. It's like, this is like $125. I was going to get a lot of sympathy from him. But that's an example of why? Why are we so much more expensive?
It is startling when you eat essentially anywhere else.
Almost every single problem that we have has been created by the government. And I'm not asking for anarchy. Why is it more expensive? Because somebody in law producing in Seattle, you need to be paid X amount of dollars. You have to pay that person that amount of money. That raises cost. The cost of gas goes up because we're going to save the planet. What a load of crap. But we're going to add an extra 50%, 50 cents on top of your gas. You got to put that stuff that's going to be eaten by somebody in a truck and driven somewhere. There's cost. Taxes and rent, every single one of every single time they come into the marketplace, they only make things more expensive. And that's because the size of the government. And today we had the story, and I heard the story. Local businesses are very, very concerned. Why are they concerned with what's concerning them? The taxes, the amount of money and restrictions that are being placed on them by the government. That's their problem. They're not complaining that there's not enough customers. The cost is being passed on to the customer, and the customer, the citizen, ends up paying for all of it. The cost of living in the state of Washington will increase. I forget the last percentage I saw, but we're all going to feel it. Why? Because the government wants to solve a problem that they've already probably created. So that's, there you go. Sorry about that.
Anyway, 0-2.
Yeah, we didn't even get my day in history. I did all the stupid research on a penny.
We're saving that. That's worth saving.
Yeah,
Today's
I know so much about pennies now.
Oh, we're getting there. Don't worry.
No, we're not. We'll do it tomorrow.
What? Are you kidding? No, today's the day. It is today. The last penny. It's just.
I got highlighted penny facts right here.
I got penny sound.
Wait, show it. It's a highlighted penny facts. I spent so much time on this, only for the people of YouTube. Look at that, huh? Look at that. See that? That's penny facts. Fun penny facts. All highlighted.
It will not go to waste.
All right. I'm going back.
Exciting.
Where's Carl Gardner when you need him?
I knew today was going to be weird.
I enjoyed a little too much of something last night, if you know what I mean. Here's Nate taking a look at traffic. Nathan?
Hey, overall, it's a decent commute. No blocking issues at the moment. Linwood to Seattle, you're down to 20 minutes. We've improved now that we cleared that earlier backup out of your way through Shoreline. You will run into a thick backup at the north end of the Ship Canal Bridge to I-90. North 5, heavy approaching the West Seattle Bridge in the downtown. South 405, you're thick from Southeast 8th and Bellevue to Cold Creek Parkway. Then you'll thin out as you head into Renton. Bellevue to Renton, 25 minutes. Seattle to Federal Way will take you 40. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway holding steady at 45 minutes. And if you're heading toward Bonnie Lake, eastbound 410 is packed from 166 at the bottom of the hill all the way up to Veterans Memorial Drive. It's about a 2-mile bumper-to-bumper backup. As far as I can see, this is just volume. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
I have become just the biggest fan of this guy. Dr. Mark Wagner, I don't know if you're listening. I hope you are. Or I hope you're helping somebody else with a stem cell procedure because you've done 20,000 of these. I had read about stem cells for a while. I know Dory Monson tried it many, many, many years ago. And the advances are just extraordinary. So when I was told, because my hip was so bad, that I had to get a hip replacement, and then I was told, oh, no, you can't. You're too young. You got to wait. I was like, what am I going to do with all this pain? Well, you could take Advil and you could just, put a pillow between your legs when you sleep. I was like, I don't want to live like this. So I was searching around. I knew Dr. Mark Wagner. I knew that he works on all sorts of athletes. People go to this guy because he's just the best there at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. If you had a bad, hip or wrist or shoulder or ankle or knee, you tell somebody, oh, it's bone on bone. Go see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD. Find out about the stem cell procedure. It's a 90-minute outpatient. In fact, I did it, and I came in here and did the show that day. All right, you ready? You got a bad elbow, wrist, shoulder, knee, you know what's going on. Go see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD. That's Dr. Mark Wagner, MD.
Looking for even more Seahawks content? Then you gotta check out The Reset. Hey, it's G. Scott, and every week, me and my co-host and Seahawks great Brandon Meebane talk Seahawks. We break down the matchups, and we're joined by former Seahawks players.
From Lakewood to Lombardi, Seahawks champion, my main man, Jermaine Kearse. What up, G?
Watch The Reset live on YouTube or subscribe on the Seattle Sports app.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
For seniors, the holidays can be fun family time, but can also be a stressful time if you're struggling with bills. Our friend Steve Teitler of Best Mortgage says a reverse mortgage may be the holiday gift you're looking for.
Many seniors love their home but are struggling with mortgage payments and other bills. A reverse mortgage lets you tap your home equity for tax-free cash. You can pay off your debts and maybe put some extra money in the bank for peace of mind. You've worked hard for that home equity. Now let it work for you. And best of all, you'll have no mortgage payments the rest of your life.
And you always talk to a real person, not an AI robot.
That's right. You'll get a no-pressure consultation directly from me or a highly experienced senior advisor. Never a sales pitch and never, ever an AI bot.
Honest advice you can trust from the reverse mortgage experts, Best Mortgage, the VA loan experts, and debt consolidation specialists, too. 425-649-6000. Best Mortgage, 425-649-6000.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Did you know in Washington State, you can see a physical therapist without a referral from your doctor? That's right. Thanks to Direct Access, you can skip the wait and get the care you need right away. Shannon O'Kelly, how has Direct Access changed the game?
Direct Access for us, Brock, is a game changer. Why? Is because there is so much research and data out there that says if you get in early when you have a musculoskeletal problem or an injury, the earlier you get in and we can start care, the better outcomes and the decreased downstream cost, okay? So it's so important. Our providers are all doctors of physical therapy. They're all trained to identify situations and problems. They've got the skill, they've got the talent, they've got the knowledge. If you get in and start therapy early, we're going to get you back to activity, pain-free, and moving and having fun.
Fast, easy, effective. Direct Access is your path to better movement, starting with a single step. Visit irgpt.com to schedule your appointment today. irgpt.com.
The real estate market is picking up and you want to sell with the best. You need to work with the Novak team. Mike Novak guarantees to sell your home in 21 days. If not, he'll sell it for free. Go to meetthenovaks.com. I'll spell it for you. Meet the Novaks Novaks.com.
Hey there, Don Reiling with Olympic Hot Tub. When the weather outside is frightful, a hot tub or sauna is so delightful. Heat up the season and gift yourself year-round wellness from Olympic. A soak in a saltwater hot spring spa is pure bliss, the perfect escape at the end of the day. Or warm body and soul in a Tilo sauna, your ideal retreat. Heck, you deserve both. Our Heat Up the Season savings end November 23rd. Learn more at olympichottub.com. Better you, better life.
the John Curley Show, everybody. Your texting is good. Good for you. 1-888-973-5476. Oh, welcome, Teeny, back there. Hello. Getting the letter of the day, getting ready on that one. Whatever that means. Okay, so this gal, I didn't know this, in North Carolina, that if you, a woman has an affair with a man, the person, so either male or female. Sure. So if the person that gets in there and does a little hanky-panky with a married couple, the person that was involved in the hanky-panky can get sued?
Yes, so if there is an affair of some sort, third party can be sued. So if your wife cheats on you, you can sue the guy she cheated on you with.
But what about her? Does the wife not have some responsibility for the action? Here we go.
A popular North Carolina TikToker will have to pay $1.75 million after a jury found her guilty of destroying a Durham couple's marriage. The lawsuit filed in Durham County Court accused Brene Kennard, an influencer with nearly 3 million followers on TikTok, of seducing and having an affair with her manager, Tim Montague. The suit was brought in civil court by the manager's now ex-wife, KIRO Montague. Akira claimed the affair caused her mental anguish, damage to her health, and deprived her kids of a two-parent household. Tim Montague eventually left his wife for Kennard.
It's in the background.
I don't know.
The jury found Kennard guilty of both criminal conversation and alienation of affection.
Alienation of affection. Here's the, this is the TikToker.
Spend Friday with me. We're going to go to DMV. Then
Oh, it's going to be good. She got 3.6 million views. So this has got to be really good. Hang on. Let me back it up so you don't lose the context. Hang on.
spend Friday with me.
Okay.
We're going to go to DMV. Then after that, we're going to figure out what we're going to do next. So I don't have anything planned, but we're going to see.
Oh, cliffhanger. Wow. DMV, we don't know where we're going next. How do I follow this person? What's the clicky sound?
Keyboard or something.
Okay, so update. We're at DMV, but we have 21 people ahead of us. So we're sitting in the car. The DMV that I'm at is very small. So yeah, that's the update. And then I'll get back to you when we finish.
That's not fair. She keeps teasing us with these updates. DMV, 20 people on the line's too long, so she's back in the car. But
right.
Again, how do I follow her? How can I be one of the 3.6 million people?
Life of Brene on TikTok.
Alrighty, y'all. It is currently 11:02.
That's kind of her catchphrase already, you all. She
Big
starts them all
time
with that.
jump there, though.
What time is it now?
11 p.m.
What happened?
Alrighty, y'all. It is currently 11:02 right now, and we're about to go to bed. Went to DMV. Didn't really do anything. Came home. Cleaned up the downstairs. I should have filmed it, but
yeah, we want to see her cleaning up.
Agreed. I need to get a new tripod, so that's one reason why I didn't film it. Maybe the next time.
Oh, maybe she'll take us through the tripod purchasing.
Ooh, I guarantee you that she will.
Okay, and this person's got 3.6 million. Whatever.
So but she's clearly making a living doing just that.
Yeah, whatever the reason, right? 1978, 78, 77, 78. The number one most watched television show was, I told you this yesterday, Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah.
Never underestimate the taste of the American people. So here's the one in North Carolina. This is in 2011. This woman was ordered to pay $30 million from Betty Devane because the woman was the former wife of Donald, whatever his name is, who owned a trucking company, and they settled. So this is another one of these affair things?
Yep, this was the highest payout that the state has ever given.
But like the guy's getting it on with the gal, the third person in this thing. But
right.
What about I guess he gets screwed over in the divorce.
Yeah, they settle that in the divorce case, so this is on top of that.
That's interesting.
6 states.
6 states have it?
Yep.
I don't think it would stop anybody. It would be like, we should have him in here. Oh, I don't know what he get caught. It's going to cost you money. Nope.
Might stop some people.
So here comes Nate
million?
checking traffic. Nathan?
Thanks, John. Seattle to Everett, a 50-minute drive. You're slow now from the U District up to Linwood. And Bellevue to Everett, you're closing in on an hour with building volumes between Kirkland and Bothell. Linwood to Seattle, we're at 25 minutes. Your thick backup now starts at Ravenna Boulevard down to I-90. North 5 heavy at the West Seattle Bridge in the downtown. Southbound 405 is, you're going to slow at 520. That continues all the way down to the VMAC. It gets really thick at about mid-Bellevue down past Cold Creek Parkway. Bellevue to Renton pushing a half hour. Tacoma to Olympia, you're still looking good, taking just 40 minutes. KIRO Newsradio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan, presented by Carter Subaru.
It is by far one of the worst non-freeway choke points we have. Getting into Snohomish every afternoon. You know what I'm talking about. But relief is on the way. A new bridge and widening project is already starting. This is Sully. I'll have the story Thursday morning on Seattle's Morning News.
Get all of Sully's choke points at mynorthwest.com and the KIRO Newsradio app.
Health insurance is broken, but it doesn't have to be. That's why Scan Health Plan was founded as a nonprofit, so we can create Medicare Advantage plans that focus on the real needs of seniors. We've been people first since 1977, and we're here to make Medicare work hard for you, because you deserve more than a broken system. You deserve a plan that fights for you. Visit scandifference.org to learn more. Scan Health Plan is an HMO plan with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Scan Health Plan depends on contract renewal.
I'm Macy House with Baird Global Investment Banking. In today's markets, global financial capabilities aren't worth much without personal attention to your priorities. Baird Banking, Research, and Private Equity professionals are located across 3 continents, sharing more than investment expertise. As employee owners of our firm, we all have a personal stake in your success, here in the Pacific Northwest and around the world. Discover the Baird difference. Visit rwbaird.com/Seattle.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results, receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all 3 like I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Time is running out to save 20% during the Bob's Heating preseason furnace sale. Now through the end of the month, save big on home comfort systems, generators, water heaters, and more. Plus, take advantage of 12-month interest-free financing and get your home winter ready before the chilly season starts. Trust the team voted best in the Pacific Northwest to be your dedicated home comfort company. Call Bob's today.
Bob's Heating and Air Conditioning. Call Bob.
At
Care Partners Senior Living, we believe in providing quality care at an affordable price. Instead of spending on luxury and expensive art, we invest in our people and accommodations with a focus on compassionate overall health. Our communities offer independent, assisted living, and memory care designed to preserve dignity, independence, and your estate. Affordable, personal, trusted. That's our promise. Please give us a call. We have beautiful Care Partners communities throughout Washington and Arizona. Visit carepartnersliving.com.
Do the holiday parties, tailgating, and family get-togethers have your liver working overtime? Let Active Liver help give your liver some relief at Amazon or VitaCost, CVS, Meijer Grocery, or ShopRite.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
House vote to end government shutdown.
The president is ready to sign this bill as soon as it is passed.
House Democrats release Epstein emails.
Epstein wrote about Trump, quote, "Of course he knew about the girls."
Federal judge in Chicago orders
hundreds of people detained by ICE should be released.
This is the CBS World News Roundup Late Edition. I'm Jennifer Kuiper. In earlier debating in the U.S. House before a vote on a funding bill to end the shutdown, Democratic Congressman Jamie Raskin says on the floor,
"It is an affront to everyone who believes that we in public office must be the servants of the people."
Republican Congressman Mike Lawler counters.
This shutdown was never about health care. It was always about appeasing a far-left radical base.
CBS's Nicole Killian on Capitol Hill.
While Speaker Johnson remains confident that he has the votes to clear this message, it really will be on him to carry this vote because the Democratic leader has indicated that Democrats are strongly opposed to this measure precisely because it does not include any type of measure to deal with these expiring subsidies under the Affordable Care Act.
House Democrats have released 3 emails that appear to show convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein believed President Trump knew more about his conduct than the president has acknowledged. CBS's Scott McFarland.
One from 2011, one from 2019 are underscored by the Democrats here, in which Epstein says that Trump in 2011 spent hours at my house. That was what he communicated in a 2011 email. In 2019, to an author, Epstein wrote, "Of course he knew about the girls," as he asked Ghislaine to stop.
The White House says the email release creates a fake narrative to smear the president. Congresswoman Adelita Grijalva becomes the 218th lawmaker to sign a petition to trigger a House vote to release the Epstein files. This comes shortly after she was sworn in by House Speaker Mike Johnson, more than 7 weeks after she won a special election in Arizona to fill her late father's seat.
Basic freedoms are under attack. Healthcare premiums are skyrocketing. Babies are being ripped away from their parents by masked agents. We can and must do better.
A federal judge in Chicago issues several orders that could soon lead to the release of thousands of immigration detainees.
Attorneys for the detainees say they worry that some now subject to release either have been deported or have self-deported. Mark Fleming at the National Immigration Center says,
"The government is having to concede that, yes, they have been consistently violating the consent decree."
The judge says the arrests by ICE were possibly unlawful, and he has ordered the government to produce a list of people that could include about 3,000 individuals. Allison Keyes, CBS News.
Stocks closed mixed on Wall Street. Now this.
Brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Not only does Progressive let you bundle your insurance, they also give you round-the-clock protection. Quote today at Progressive.com.
It seems all but certain now Seattle will have a new mayor. That's coming up after Nate Connors at the real-time traffic desk.
All right, Aaron, Seattle to Everett, a 50-minute drive. You're slow from the U District up to Linwood. Heavy volumes as you make your way through Northgate. Bellevue to Everett is down to 50 minutes. We were close to an hour at our last break. We've got building volumes between Kirkland and Bothell heavy at times. Linwood to Seattle, a 25-minute drive. You're thick at Ravenna down to I-90. North 5 jams up approaching the West Seattle Bridge into downtown. Over in Bellevue, we've got a new collision at South 405 just past 520. It's in your left lane. This adds to heavy volumes at the scene down to Cold Creek Parkway. Bellevue to Renton still about 25 minutes. Seattle to Federal Way, a 40-minute drive is heavy from the Duwamish curve to State Route 516. And Renton to Puyallup, southbound 167 now at 50 minutes. Stop and go traffic from 405 to 516 and then another backup from Algona into Puyallup. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio. Breaking news.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. Seattle voters now appear to have made their choice. Both the Seattle Times and King 5 report Katie Wilson has been elected mayor. New results show Wilson holds a nearly 2,000 vote lead over Mayor Bruce Harrell. That's too big of a margin to overcome. Wilson addressing the media yesterday.
I believe in good government, and I believe that there's a lot of work that needs to be done inside City Hall to make sure that our city bureaucracy is really delivering for the people of Seattle. I'm really excited about that work.
Although a recount is still possible, Mayor Harrell says he will address the people of Seattle tomorrow at noon. A North Seattle tattoo shop was hit again, a break-in that dragged on for 10 hours. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey has more on that.
For artist and owner Ralph,
it is pretty gut-wrenching.
It really hurt watching a suspect try to break into his North Seattle shop with a crowbar for 10 hours straight over the weekend, because Corazon Collective is more than a tattoo shop.
We work hard to bring people together.
It's a community space about to hold a workshop to help people who lost SNAP food benefits. This time the suspect failed.
Pretty disheartening.
Last year another thief broke in and stole thousands in tattoo equipment.
It's really like a worst-case scenario for small business owners.
Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Thousands more young children in Washington will soon have access to free preschool. KIRO News Radio's Frank Lenzi with details on who gave the gift.
Ballmer Group is making a 10-year commitment to pay for up to 10,000 new seats in Washington's Early Childhood Education and Assistance Program, known as ECAP. The group will be putting up about $170 million a year. Governor Bob Ferguson.
As we're standing here today, it'd be hard to quantify how significant that investment will be for our state.
The grant kicks in 2026. Frank Lenzi, KIRO News Radio.
The Ballmer Group was co-founded by Connie and Steve Ballmer. He's the former Microsoft CEO. Weather update now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Going to stay wet for tonight, and showers continue into tomorrow. It'll be breezy as well. Right now, 57 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Hi, you've reached the John Curley Show.
Okay.
Listener introduction line.
All right, here we go.
Please tell us a little bit about yourself and why you enjoy the show.
Why you enjoy it. Why you enjoy the show.
Life is a breeze. Of course, some breezes, as you know, are 110 miles an hour and get promoted up to hurricanes. I just thought I'd pass that along.
You know the story behind that? He had been on the air for like 14 hours straight or something like that. Larry King had. Yeah.
I didn't know the specifics.
Yeah, it gets weirder and weirder. And he's interviewing somebody, and the guy's like, or somebody calls in. You ever seen the whole call? I'll get it for you during the break. We'll play little radio games. All right, first of all, diving in there. Here we go, John Curley Show. Oh, I can't wait to see his big mug. Oh, there it is. Hang on. It's the only music we can afford for you, Jim Walsh. There he is, Mr. Walsh. State representative from the 19th, the Fighting 19th, chairman of the Washington State GOP. All right, you're like Tiresias, the blind prophet, telling all of these horrible things are going to be happening. Can you give us good and give us bad? Let's start with the good stuff, Walsh. What do you got? What do you got that's good and positive? What's going to keep us going? Pep in the step. Okay, moving on to the bad stuff. What do you got in the bad stuff? What?
We live in a beautiful state. When you start to take the politics and the governor talking about a bailout from Ballmer Group, and hey, did he have Jamie Peterson standing next to him at that press conference? Is Jamie Peterson the guy who says that parents have no rights? Anyway,
interesting.
Walk outside, touch grass, walk on the sidewalk. Try not to get mud. Walk around and look at how beautiful our state is. It genuinely is beautiful. I was down in District today. I was in Westport and then down in South Bend, drove by Washaway Beach. It's beautiful country. Okay. We live in a beautiful state. We got to defend it better against crooks and thieves and liars and prevaricators.
Okay, so thank you for the update on green grass and trees and the benefit to our soul. Now let's get to the rest of it. Thoughts on the fact that it looks like Katie Wilson is going to be the new mayor of Seattle?
Ouch. Yes. A early middle-aged woman who's never held a serious job and is a NEPO baby. Her professor parents back in New York State support her. And her husband, who I guess is kind of like Karl Marx, works on treatises during the day or something, but doesn't work. And they need to have someone watch the kid because he's busy doing whatever it is he does. And she is busy running for mayor, I guess. It's not good, John. It doesn't look good for the city of Seattle. She's going to get rolled by the left-wing city council, and she's going to end up really the over-under now is, does she last a term? You know, Seattle's had a bunch of one-term mayors now. Does this one even last a term?
So, you know, the mayor, Bruce Harrell, came in here and kind of read me the riot act on that I had endorsed her. So I'm running my endorsement.
Of course, in Seattle, the riot act means you must riot, not you must stop rioting.
Get the rim shot. Wake up the drummer. Walsh is going to roll. All right. I said, listen, let's go all in on socialism. You're a history guy. I said, go in on socialism. Let's see if it works. And if it doesn't work, we can say, well, we tried it. It failed miserably. This sort of, you know, putting your baby toe in or the bullfrog in the water, taking the heat up just a little bit. I just say, just take the bullfrog, get the water up to a nice bowl, just boil, and just throw the frog in there. Let's see if you really believe that you can tax the rich and redistribute to the poor and the world will be great and we don't need cops and all this other stuff. Let's see. So then maybe we would learn from our mistakes, and the next time somebody comes along with something like this, like we did in the 1920s up into the 30s with we had the communists running for president, we said we reject it, right? But we haven't tried it. So the reason I endorsed her was like, go ahead, let's see. Let's go all in on this.
H.L. Mencken's great line.
Right.
Democracy is the proposition that the people know what they want and deserve to get it good and hard.
Yeah.
That is Ms. Wilson, our likely next mayor in Seattle. I feel bad for the woman. She's got no preparation for the job. She's got no apparent skills for the job. She talks like a bottom third of the class leftist at Evergreen State College, and you know, it's going to be a mess. But there are brighter lights on the horizon.
Oh.
We have a situation in our state where the federal government, the Department of Justice, is finally starting to move toward taking action that will help us. It will help us clean up our voter rolls. It will help us give clarity to our election processes. Watch that lawsuit at the U.S. Supreme Court right now. It's a Mississippi case, but it would apply nationally, potentially, that would say that you can't have this trailing deadline for when ballots are accepted, that there has to be a clear time and day when ballots during an election must be received by the election officials. You can't say, well, if it's postmarked, it could come in 4 or 5 days later. No. I suspect the U.S. Supreme Court, in ruling on this Mississippi case, is going to say, no, it's got to be a clear deadline on election day. And if ballots are received after that, they should not be counted. That will add some clarity to our elections here. And we won't see what we saw with this mayor race, where the incumbent had the lead for 5-6 days, and then the socialist challenger grounded out toward the end and squeaked ahead. We need this, John. We need clarity in our elections because we need people to trust elections again. The other thing that happened last week is, we expected low voter turnout in the election because it was an off-year election. It was lower than projections.
Was it 36%?
And most experts were expecting it to be mid-40s or low 40s. Substantially lower. And I think people are, not inspired because they weren't inspired by races like the mayor race at the top of the ticket or other races in other places that were at the top of the ticket. They weren't inspired, and they're grumpy. They're not inspired, and they're not trusting. We've got to inspire people, and we've got to make them trust at least a little bit in our system.
I think,
and then we'll get better mayors.
I think a lot of Republicans who you represent, I think they look at it, why bother voting? You know, there's the famous Albert Camus story about the French prison. The cell was too narrow that you couldn't sit down and too short that you couldn't stand up. So people had to squat the entire time. So for 23 hours, you would be squatting. They would let you out into the recess yard to walk. They would let you walk for 1 hour. And the old prisoners never stood back up again. They walked almost like in a duck squat position because they realized the pain of having to stand up and then having to go back into the cell again was greater than the pain of having to walk that way. I think the Republicans are so broken in the state of Washington. Why bother voting? My vote doesn't matter. I get blown out anyway. And even when I do get somebody, you get some like Chad Magendas and there are some others, they simply don't win. So at this point, you throw your arms up and you say, well, I guess I'll go outside and roll around in the grass because that's what Jim Walsh tells me to do that.
Oh, then come back in and vote. We are going to give people something to believe in. We've got a voter ID initiative that's out gathering signatures. Next week, the popular and beloved even Scott Presler is going to be in town to help promote that initiative. We're going to get signatures on that initiative. There are the two other initiatives to restore the Parents' Bill of Rights again and to say clearly in state law, no boys in girls' sports. I think we are giving people things they can believe in, things they can get excited about. We're going to run a whole slate of races next year. It's the big midterm.
Okay.
Legislative, congressional. We're going to have interesting races with more, I think, more inspiring stories to tell. And in the meantime, we've got the governor and Senator Peterson there, sort of trying to duck walk around because they got money from Balmer Group. Look, the ECAP program is a good program, by the way. I'm glad Balmer Group is putting its money in there. But if the governor were not wasting so much taxpayer money in the operating budget on grifty, homeless industrial complex schemes and weird, uneconomic green energy boondoggles, there would be regular operating budget money enough to run ECAP. Instead, he burns taxpayer money and then has to go groveling to Balmer for a philanthropic support of ECAP, which again is a good preschool program. We like ECAP.
Did you know they did a study on Head Start and they found out it was ineffective?
Yeah, but ECAP is not exactly Head Start. I
Okay.
mean, it's kind of a local version, and the parents are usually involved. ECAP is a good program, John.
All right.
That's not one we should be turning our nose up at. That's one we should be funding and not blowing all our money on stupid homeless industrial complex schemes that don't build any housing.
Well, you're going to find more money because there's rumors that they're looking for a new tax. This Olympia is talking about this 9.9% income tax on business owners with high earnings. Is that really coming?
Oh, I hope it is, John. It will be lovely. It is criminally unconstitutional. It is flagrantly illegal by state law. I mean, that's the kind of fight we want. I suspect. I mean, don't go to the Toreador waving his red flag over there, John. I suspect they're going to talk about that, but actually try something different. They're also talking about raising the B&O, business and occupation tax, again. They're also talking about this wealth tax that they like, which is the tax on unrealized capital gains.
Yeah.
Either of those bad ideas are less bad than the state income tax idea. And I think they're just using it as a bait and switch or a head fake.
At the Washington Policy Center that does such great work, one of their headlines is will the last person leaving Seattle turn off the lights?
Oh, that old one. Right.
That's from the realtor. The realtors had that in the 1970s along I-5 as people were all leaving. But if you look at the simple numbers of how many businesses are opening, how many businesses are being taxed, and where we've moved now with business competition and where we rank nationally, we're 43rd now. We've been dropping like a rock because businesses.
40. I thought it was 45. It's in the mid-40s and dropping. You're right.
Yeah, it's going down all the time. So I was looking up this just to see. I wanted to find out where people are going. Utah now has a 33% increase. They believe a 33% increase to their growth rate in tech. Why? Because good climate, low taxes, and ways of life. They don't fund their schools anywhere near what we fund our schools, but just overall, people are moving there for a better lifestyle. Businesses are moving to Utah because, well, welcome to Utah. We won't tax the hell out of you. So businesses will leave. The ultimate vote is not with your hand. It's with your feet, right, Jim? People leave. That is your last vote, is when you turn the lock on the door and you fill the U-Haul and leave a giant smog of, I guess, carbon emission smoke from your U-Haul into Bob Ferguson's nasal passages as you go to another state.
We will convert common sense, normal people,
Jim,
faster.
You and I have known each other for like 8 years, 10 years. You come on here all the time, and it's always like things are going to get better. Now you're telling me to roll around in the grass. You got to give me something, Walsh, because right now it looks like if they continue to tax and brand new taxes because they don't have the money, and then all of these new programs and all this other stuff, the fact that they're even talking about increasing this tax or all these other taxes, people will not stand for it anymore, and they will eventually leave, right?
You know, some people will leave, John, but more people will see the light. This has gotten so bad, so comically bad, that reasonable people, the proverbial Issaquah soccer mom, who really mostly didn't vote this last election. It's not that she voted for the left-wing candidate, it's that she didn't vote. I think we can motivate her to vote. I think things are just getting so just absurd, truly absurd in our state. I mean, truly, the current governor doing a press conference about ECAP with the state senator who literally said parents have no rights over their children. I mean, this is like something out of a Marx Brothers movie. Yeah. It will get better, okay, John. It will get better, and it will start next year.
Yes.
Wow. There we go. No rim shot on that one?
No, that gives me too much hope for a
Too much hope. All right, Mr. Walsh. Well, listen, the other story, just briefly, please, can we do something about the Keeping Families Together Act? Every month I get an increase. I get the latest data on the number of children killed and the tragic stories, although each unique, they fall under the exact same horrible narrative that the state of Washington passed a law to put children back into homes where the mother and the father, or the mother or the father, or one or the other, are addicted to drugs. The child somehow gets the drugs ingested, and that kid dies. And this is from 5-year-olds and 7-year-olds and 3-month-old. And basically the idea was the state did not want to intervene, and if that was best for the kid to be in the house, because what they really wanted, they wanted to reduce their foster care numbers. What they've done is they've reduced the foster care numbers, and they've gotten kids back in the house. But the other chart that they don't see is the number of children that are dead. So they've reduced the foster care, but they've increased the obituary numbers. I can't remember the woman's name. I think we've asked her to come on the show. Jim, that thing needs to be absolutely torn apart, and that person who advocated for this garbage, she should be forced to go to every single one of those funerals. She should be forced to look into those coffins of those kids. She should have to do the eulogy. I wanted to keep your families together. I knew you were addicted to drugs. I knew there was fentanyl, but what we gave you were safety boxes you could put the drugs in. I thought it would work. Sorry, it didn't. Sorry, your 3-month-old is dead. That, whatever her name is, I don't remember her name, she should have to go to the funerals. Attend one. Because of her wanting to believe that somehow the state's going to keep families together to reduce the foster care numbers, and this is going to be a safe environment for that child. It's shame. And that death of that kid and the life that's lost, the opportunity hangs with that legislator that was really big on making sure we're going to keep families together act while we drive the body to the funeral home. You don't need to say anything.
There's bipartisan support to fix it, John. This is a classic example of good intentions failing. You know, whatever. You want to keep families together, that sounds fine. Then you parse it through the bureaucracy of the Department of Children, Youth, and Families into this bizarre Orwellian thing where you say that if one parent they can be strung out on fentanyl, but if they put it in a box for 4 hours, the kid can stay in the apartment. This is insane.
Who could write that? Who could write that down on a piece of paper and somebody go, "That's a good idea." So the mom can be high while the dad's sober, but then I guess like a tag team in World Wide Wrestling, they trade off, and then the other guy just starts smoking the fentanyl.
And that is the distinction between bad law, which keeping families together is bad law, and bad execution. The law doesn't have the stupid stuff about the lockbox in it, but the bureaucratic rules that apply the law are where the stupid stuff about the box with the fentanyl in it comes in. You have to assume that even a well-structured law will get misinterpreted and screwed up by the bureaucratic administrations. Yeah. So you have to write good law really narrowly and really profoundly, clearly, so that the bureaucrats won't screw it up with something like that, because if you give them the chance, they will.
Right.
The Department of Children, Youth, and Family is a dumpster fire. It was spun out of the Department of Social and Health Services, DSHS.
Yeah.
I think maybe it ought to be spun back into DSHS, because it's been such a failure as a standalone agency.
Well, that's all the time we have, Mr. Walsh. I'll let you get outside and enjoy some of those trees.
I like the fall, John.
I do too. I do, because you get a chance to wear your jacket with your sweater underneath.
I always do that.
I know you do. I'll see you soon. If not, I'll see you at Roanoke, all right?
Absolutely.
All right.
Be well.
There we go. There goes Mr. Walsh. Out the door. He is our state representative and also chairman of the Washington State GOP. All right, taking Nate. Here's traffic. Nathan.
Thanks, John. Over in Bellevue, South 405 and Northeast 12th, that earlier collision was just cleared about 2 minutes ago. It's sitting on your right shoulder. It had 3 lanes blocked at its worst, and that's why we're backed up bumper to bumper from Northeast 60th. But once you get through this backup, you're clear all the way down to I-90, where it is slow once again into Renton. Bellevue to Renton, still right around a half hour. North 405, heavy between Kirkland and Bothell. Another backup heading into Alderwood, starting near Damson Road. Bellevue to Everett is up to 1 hour. Seattle to Everett, still a 50-minute drive, and you're slow from the U District through North Linwood. That drive through Everett this afternoon looking pretty good. In fact, North 5 has just a little crowding between the Boeing Freeway and Highway 2. Everett to Marysville, 10 minutes max. Linwood to Seattle, 25 minutes. It's thick from Ravenna down to I-90. North 5 heavy approaching the West Seattle Bridge in the downtown. And if you're crossing the lake from Bellevue into Seattle right now, it's a smooth commute on both I-90 and 520, taking just 15 minutes. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
I'll tell you, Dan, what it's like. You watch the hair begin to thin. That's right. The crown disappears. That hair loss just starts to just kind of, rob you of your identity. That's how I felt until I visited Advanced Hair. Gosh, it was maybe 13 years ago or something like that. Advanced Hair's got this simple one-day treatment. They regrew my own natural hair, and they do the exact same thing for you. Because if you notice that your hair is going away, it is not leaving a forwarding address. It's not coming back. You just have to decide, do you want to be bald or you want your hair back? It's that simple. It's kind of a binary choice, hair back or bald. I went with hair back. You probably want to do the same thing. Do what I did. You set up a free consultation. They're going to knock off $250, give you 250 free hair grafts. Just give them a call at 425-449-8185. You don't want to wait, because your own natural hair is guaranteed to grow. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. That's the second time in a row. A call to Advanced Hair, 425-449-8185, or look at them online right there at advancedhair.com.
There's 2 types of people.
The G and Ursula Show.
The ones that use a washcloth or a Lupa sponge.
Okay. Weekdays 9 to noon.
The other are bare hand bandits. They just grab the soap. Growing up, my delegation, we always use washcloths.
Hate to break it to you, but I think my hand's going to be much better than this brush.
Yeah, what? I am uncomfortable.
Really?
Rubbing all over myself without there being a buffer.
Watch live on YouTube and the KIRO Newsradio app.
Every time I turn around, my friends at Pure Talk give me one more reason to feel good about switching. This month, for instance, they're supporting Canines for Warriors, a terrific organization that trains rescue dogs and then pairs them up with combat veterans struggling with PTSD. The result? They're saving lives on both ends of the leash. This is why I switched to Pure Talk. I like being in business with an American wireless company who shares my values. Yeah, I appreciate unlimited talk, text, and plenty of 5G data for just $25 a month, and I bet you will too. But I think you'll really appreciate doing business with a company who gives back to the men and women who volunteered to defend our country. Just dial pound 250, say micro. With Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team, you can switch in as little as 10 minutes. Again, dial pound 250, say micro, to switch to an American wireless company who actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
What's your holiday tradition? It's G. Scott here. For me, it's gathering with loved ones around a meal that brings joy. For many families, that tradition feels out of reach. Next time you shop at Safeway, please donate to Nourishing Neighbors. Your gift provides groceries to families across Washington, giving them access to nutritious food and the dignity to shop like the rest of us and choose what's meaningful for their holiday table. Visit nourishingneighbors.com and donate at your Safeway checkout. That's nourishingneighbors.com.
The first few steps that I took in the morning were pretty painful.
This is Carlos.
I mean, I had been told by multiple orthopedic surgeons that there was no alternative for me.
That wasn't what he wanted to hear. You see, Carlos is an active guy.
I played basketball, and for 3 to 4 days after, my knees would just be so swollen. And now I can play basketball, and there is no swelling. There is no pain in the knees.
No swelling, no pain, because Carlos went to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
I'm just happy to be able to be out there. And then knowing that tomorrow I am not going to suffer for this.
What do you say to your friends and family who are in pain?
I say, I had horrible knee pain and stem cells really work for me. You might want to go to Dr. Wagner, just get a consultation before you have surgery.
Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. Katie Wilson appears on her way to the Seattle mayor's office. Her lead has now grown to nearly 2,000 votes over Mayor Bruce Harrell. More from KIRO 7 TV's Monique Minglavin.
Mayor Bruce Harrell now says he is planning on addressing the city tomorrow at noon. This comes as the latest totals have Katie Wilson in the lead by 1,976 votes. This is not final. There are still ballots and signatures being challenged.
But some other news outlets have called the race for Wilson a 43-year-old community activist and self-identified Democratic Socialist. A recount is still possible. The House right now is debating a spending bill to end the longest government shutdown in history. Nearly every Democrat, including Washington Representative Pramila Jayapal, is expected to vote no.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to oppose this bill that allows health insurance premiums for 22 million American families to skyrocket and raises health care costs for everyone.
U.S. Senate has promised to vote next month to extend those health care premium subsidies. Federal court jury has awarded more than $28 million to the family of a woman who died in the crash of a Boeing 737 MAX in Ethiopia more than 6 years ago.
The jury reached the verdict Wednesday at the first civil trial stemming from the March 2019 crash that killed all 157 people on board, including Shika Garg, a United Nations consultant. The family's legal team says they are gratified by the verdict. In a statement, Boeing apologized to all the victims' families and said it respects their right to pursue their claims in court. Frank Lenzi, KIRO News Radio.
Thousands of Starbucks baristas are stirring up a protest. They plan to strike tomorrow at 4 p.m., turning the company's popular Red Cup Day into what they're calling a Red Cup Rebellion. Starbucks Workers United say the walkout is due to stalled contract talks with the company. Company says the vast majority of stores will not be impacted. It adds Starbucks is committed to working out a fair deal. Takes us to 4:33, and we have Nate Connors at the real-time traffic desk.
Thanks, Aaron. Let's see. Pretty decent commute out there for the most part. Bellevue to Everett, we're at 55 minutes. Heavy volumes through Kirkland and Totem Lake, which is typical, and then it'll turn to scattered slowing between Bothell and Alderwood. You will jam up at that interchange. Seattle to Everett, a 50-minute commute. You're slow from 520 into North Linwood. Linwood to Seattle, less than a half hour. Your only backup starts at Ravenna down to I-90. Pretty thick there through the U District. North 5 is thick approaching the West Seattle Bridge in the downtown. Our lake bridges are doing okay. In fact, less than 20 minutes between Bellevue and Seattle on both bridge routes. Bellevue to Renton, we're down to 25 minutes. Scattered backups, though, starting in Kirkland near Northeast 60th, all the way down to Cold Creek Parkway before you start to thin out. Outside of that, we're looking at a pretty typical commute. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Thank you, Nate. Your forecast brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Rain on the way all night long. Tomorrow, more rain and breezy conditions. Highs will stay in the upper 50s. Right now, 55 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
KIRO 7 News starting at 4. When you need to stay plugged in and connected, they've got you. Live breaking news so you know what's happening now. Investigations and in-depth coverage to get you answers. Weather on the way to help you prepare, bringing the day's biggest stories into focus so you know more. Watch KIRO 7 News at 4, 5, and 6 only on KIRO 7 TV.
Buggy's Auto Service Centers. First ones to tell you, well said, well read, Joe. That just came in. They got 16 locations, been around for 50 years. It's Buggy's. Buggy's Auto Service Centers. I'm going to Buc-ee's. I'm stepping out. Buc-ee's Auto Service Centers. Okay, now the bride and groom. Come up for a dance now, bride and groom. Okay, Joe, stop. Okay, stop. If you stop the music, you'll stop Joe.
I don't want to stop Joe.
We're supposed to be doing news. It's just KIRO News.
Damn it.
And it's Trump news. So here we go, everybody. You love him or hate him, love him or hate him. Most consequential president we've had the last 100 years.
Some say he's a savior, a beacon so bright. Others scream danger, they're ready to fight.
Buc-ee's.
Building up walls or tearing them down. A hero, a villain, a king or a clown. Love him or hate him, there's no in between. The loudest of dreams or the darkest of scenes. Making it great or breaking it all. The Trump administration's a wild free for all.
I see that as strip clubs.
An enormous, really an enormous.
There we go. Okay, let's see a whole bunch of Trump stuff going on. Trump, some people are mad because he was asked, it was Laura Ingraham, in between facelifts, got a chance to ask the president about H-1B immigrants. Is it necessary to have them? Should we continue to allow H-1B immigrants to be coming in here? And he said this to upset some folks.
There's never going to be a country like what we have right now.
And does that
the
mean
Republicans have to talk about it, Laura.
And does that mean the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
we
a
have
country
plenty of talented people
no,
here.
You don't. No, you don't.
We don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have. You don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, I'm going to put you into a factory where we're going to make missiles, or I'm going to put
How did we ever do it before?
Well,
I'll
give you an example. In Georgia, they raided because they wanted illegal immigrants out. They had people from South Korea that made batteries all their lives. You know, making batteries are very complicated. It's not an easy thing. It's very dangerous. A lot of explosions, a lot of problems. They had like 500 or 600 people early stages to make batteries and to teach people how to do it. Well, they wanted them to get out of the country. You're going to need that, Laura. I mean, I know you and I disagree on this. You can't just say a country's coming in, going to invest $10 billion to build a plant, and going to take people off an unemployment line who haven't worked in 5 years, and they're going to start making missiles. It doesn't work that way.
Well, Laura kept trying to jump in on him, right?
He wasn't having it.
Are the children being better educated in China and India? Are they a more competitive workplace? Is it a more competitive school where they're spending 8 hours a day, not only in school, but also additional learning at home? Does the Indian family or the Chinese family see education as a way up and out of poverty? Do we have the same sort of dedication and determination to use education in order to better ourselves? And if another country is able to have a better educated workforce, would we not want that person here in the United States? So Laura's problem is, well, it's not fair to somebody else. And Trump's saying, well, if we're not educating the way they are educating, then we want to hire the best people, the smartest people. If you just look at the Fortune 400, the richest billionaires we have in the country, I think 40% of them are foreign born. Why?
I think people, at least in Trump, the really kind of diehard MAGA Trump people, when he said that he was going to bring manufacturing back to the U.S. and create a whole new generation of manufacturing workers, I think their interpretation is that these are going to be American jobs for American-born people, and so obviously I think he's going to need skilled workers, and I think H-1B visas is a benefit to our country, but I think that's why people are confused.
Yeah, look at the other thing. We did the story just a couple of weeks ago that there are gigantic factories where there are no lights on in China. Why? Because it's all robots, right? So one person producing 100 as opposed to 100 people producing one. When you have the industrialization of the workforce, you have to have somebody educated to be able to fix the robot or work with the robot, not just screw a bolt on a nut, right? That's one of the reasons that Apple still continues to have the work done in China, because that they now have a workforce that is skill-setted to the production of high-tech instruments. They wanted to try to send them somewhere else, to Vietnam or Indonesia, but they said, no, China is set up for us. They built that workforce just for us to produce the products that we need. In the international marketplace of employees, you're going to hire the best. I do think it's better to have somebody here in the United States. I had a friend of mine used to work in a tech company, and they used to hire people in India. So they're working in India. So she would be on doing Zoom calls, whatever the time change was in India, 12 hours or something like that. This person was being paid $37,000 a year, US dollars, but to them, converted into Indian currency, it was like making $125,000. Well, a tech company here in Seattle did not need to bring that person here.
Right.
They could be there making $35,000. They were replacing an American working here that wanted the job. They were being replaced at $35,000. You'd rather have them come in. They get paid US dollars. But the only way to be able to increase everybody's salary is to be able to actually have more jobs and then also have more people competing for the jobs. You have too many people applying for too few jobs, well, then the employer has the benefit to be able to not pay as many. So the imbalance bounces back and forth all the time. A BBC director, Tim Davis, the head of the news, I guess they call it news, had to resign because of this particular clip.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you, and we fight.
Okay, oopsie. I think what we fight was 55 seconds. He said we fight 55 seconds or 55 minutes later, but they were able to edit the whole thing. We don't have time.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol.
This is reality. This is a fact.
And we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women.
Right. And the BBC, government-controlled media.
And we fight. We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
Yeah. So they've resigned in disgrace. And does Trump want to sue him?
Yes, I think for $1 billion.
Imagine being one of his lawyers. Another lawsuit. All right. We can't play the song during the time. Here's Nate checking traffic. Nathan.
Thanks, John. South 405, you've got a lengthy backup this afternoon starting at Northeast 70th in Kirkland, and it doesn't let up till you get down to Northeast 30th in Renton. Now, you are at a decent pace through most of this. Bellevue to Renton, 25 minutes. Bellevue to Everett, 55. Heavy volumes through Kirkland and Totem Lake. It'll turn into scattered slowing between Bothell and Alderwood, but you will jam up as you approach the interchange. Seattle to Everett, 50 minutes. You're slow from 520 through North Linwood now. Linwood to Seattle, a 25-minute drive. It's clear till you hit Ravenna Boulevard, and from there you're bumper to bumper down to I-90. Seattle to Federal Way, plan on 35 minutes. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeways at 50 minutes, and Tacoma to Olympia, a 45-minute commute. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
I got a message from somebody on Instagram. I got Mike Novak. The clock is ticking. He's going to sell my house in 21 days or he doesn't pay. We don't pay him a commission. Mike Novak has been in this business for a long time of selling houses. He puts his money where his mouth is. I don't know any other realtor that's doing this. Even Nick said to me, how does he do it? I said, because he just knows. He just knows how to sell a house. And part of it is because Novak spends 70 times more than the average agent when it comes to make sure your house is seen and shown and then sold. So much so, he said, listen, you tell everybody, Curly, that I will sell their house in 21 days. If not, I won't charge him a commission. That's money out of his pocket, but that gets your house sold because this guy is determined. Mike Novak sells more houses because he simply knows how to do it. And now, as you're thinking about selling the house, because they're all coming on the market because the mortgage rates are coming down and you want to get in there, you need to make sure your house is seen and shown and then sold. So what do? You get a Mike Novak sign out in front. First thing you do is get in touch with Novaks. MeetTheNovaks.com. That's MeetTheNovaks.com. I'll spell it for you. Novak. MeetTheNovaks.com.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts, or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Rain-X wipers are the #1 wiper blades in America. That means all kinds of drivers choose Rain-X. Big drivers in small cars choose Rain-X. Small drivers in big cars choose Rain-X. Drivers with long hair and short commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with short hair and long commutes choose Rain-X. Drivers with pets on board, babies on board, and bored babies on board choose Rain-X. Basically, drivers who love a clear view of the road all choose Rain-X wipers. The #1 wiper blades in America.
The markets and the economy will change, but you should always know what you can rely on from your financial advisor. I'm John Ramsire with Baird Private Wealth Management in Seattle. With deep planning and investment expertise, Baird's financial advisors have guided individuals and families through changing markets for more than 100 years. And in all that time, our guiding principle has never changed. Our clients come first, always. Discover the Baird difference at rwbaird.com/Seattle.
Life's expensive enough, isn't it? Groceries, gas, kids' activities. Sometimes your roof needs replacing, but your budget says not now. Hi, I'm Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. We want to help with an offer to lift that weight off your shoulders. Get 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months, or save up to $3,000 on a new roof today. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with 0 risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com. Or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next-day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Are you looking at senior living options for you or a loved one? If so, you likely have many questions like, what can I afford? How long will my savings last? And if I run out of money, will I have to move out? If these questions are weighing on you, I'm here to talk you through different solutions. Hi, I'm Amanda from Care Partners Senior Living. At Care Partners, we're focused on offering high-quality, compassionate care at very affordable prices to help stretch and preserve your assets. And if you ever run out of funds and need to convert to Medicaid, you won't have to move. We have vibrant communities throughout Western Washington, Spokane, and Arizona offering independent, assisted living, and memory care. Our caregivers are some of the most loving and genuine people you'll ever meet. Stretch your assets, preserve your estate, and never worry about moving. That's peace of mind in the Care Partners Living difference. Learn more at carepartnersliving.com. Care Partners is excited to announce our newest communities in Port Orchard, Sumner, Snohomish, and North Creek Bothell. Visit carepartnersliving.com.
A 15-year-old girl who chewed through a rope to escape a serial killer.
I used my front teeth to saw on the rope in my mouth.
The killer prowled the Pacific Northwest in the early 70s. He's been convicted of murdering 2 young women, but suspected of many more.
Maybe there's another one in that area.
Follow and binge all episodes of Stolen Voices of Dole Valley, available now wherever you listen.
Health insurance is broken, but it doesn't have to be. That's why Scan Health Plan was founded as a nonprofit, so we can create Medicare Advantage plans that focus on the real needs of seniors. We've been people first since 1977, and we're here to make Medicare work hard for you, because you deserve more than a broken system. You deserve a plan that fights for you. Visit scandifference.org to learn more. Scan Health Plan is an HMO plan with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Scan Health Plan depends on contract renewal.
Guys, it's time to know your numbers and what they mean. And right now, Revive Men's Health is offering a $400 comprehensive wellness panel for just $99. Free if you start treatment. Offer ends November 30th. Book today at revivemenshealth.com. Must medically qualify. Terms apply. Contact us for full offer details.
Oh, good. Finally, I can do my penny story. I did all the research. Come on. Okay, here. A day in history on the penny. So the penny is officially going away today, right? Isn't this the end of it?
They already made it.
Okay, so long. And then maybe in a number of years from now, people are like, Penny Lane, what's a penny? What's a penny? And people will no longer be able to use the penny as a weapon anymore because, well, like for instance, this guy named Edward Lawrence got really mad. The Department of Treasury minted the last penny. That was today, right, in Philadelphia. Correct. This is a while ago. This guy...
Edward, apart from the fact that it's useless, why is the penny being phased out?
I think penny purists would say it's not useless, but yeah, the penny, it's price. You know, it's just cost that has done it in. In fact, the cost of the penny, it's 3.7 cents to make a penny. The U.S. Mint made 2.3 billion pennies last year, I should say, and at 3.7 cents to make a 1 cent penny, it's materials.
Yeah, that's the old joke. Wait, we're going to buy the velvet for $3 and sell it for $1? How are you going to make any money? Volume! So that's the government. 3 cents to make it. It's only valued at 1 cent. Why do you seem to be confused by that?
It's just surprising.
How about this guy that decided he had to pay a fine, so he thought, well, I know what I'm going to do.
And this is the first time anybody had pulled a stunt like this.
In April 2024, contractor Kirk Sherman purchased waterfront property along Lake Sheepscot in Palermo. That December, he was faced with a $20,000 fine due to violating the town's lakeshore ordinance.
I was willing to pay a $10,000 fine and take my responsibility. And I said, if we end up paying any more than that, we're going to pay it in pennies.
True to his word, last Thursday, Sherman dropped off over 12,000 pounds of loose change to the Palermo town office.
While I can't speculate why they did what they did, we find it very unprofessional on their part. And we believe everybody that deals with the town ought to deal with the town in a respectful manner.
I'm paying it, and I just want them to realize that they weren't fair with us. So this is our kind of one fun way of saying, here's your payment, good luck.
Yeah, the other story was I sent you, the guy came with 5 wheelbarrows of pennies, and then he had to stand there while they counted them all. I mean, that's the torture part of it.
That's cutting off your nose to spite your face.
He didn't care. I understand something like that. So he decides that's it. What's wrong? What? Oh, that's right. Okay, here's a story about a famous penny that saved a guy's life. So the guy named, he was Private John Trickett, and he was fighting, I guess it was World War I. I think it was World War I. He was in England, and a man, the enemy, I think a German guy, had a gun and shot at him, and it ricocheted off a penny. And then the bullet, after it ricocheted off the penny that he had in his breast pocket, went into his mouth. This isn't the good part. The sound effect of that. The penny goes into his mouth. No, the bullet goes into his mouth and then comes out of his mouth and comes out his ear.
That's the best I got.
Okay, all right. Anyway, and then the penny, all bent up and everything, it ends up going on auction. They thought it would sell for about 50 pounds. It ended up selling for 5,000 pounds. Yeah.
In for a penny.
Oh, I like the fact that when they came up with the original design of the penny, the artist had his initials on there, and people are like, why is his initials are bigger? FBD. Why is his initials so big? Victor David Brenner. No way. The public didn't like the fact that his name was there and his initials were minted in the form. They didn't like it. It was just over to the shoulder of Abraham Lincoln. Because put Abraham Lincoln on the pic. But the pennies are gone. Say goodbye. No more penny. No more penny lanes.
And now you know the rest of the story.
Is in my ears and in my eyes. Beneath the blue suburban skies.
All right, Nate, to you doing traffic now.
Puyallup, westbound 512 at Canyon Road. We've got a new fender bender. Just reported, unclear which lane's blocked, but traffic is backed up to the South Hill curve. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway, a 50-minute commute. Heavy volumes through Renton and Kent, and then thick again from Pacific into Puyallup. Through Federal Way, South 5, you've got heavy volumes from State Route 18 down to the Puyallup River Bridge. Very typical. Federal Way to Tacoma, plan on 20 minutes. North 5 slows from the Fife curve up to State Route 18. Tacoma to Olympia is a 40-minute commute. It's crowded along South Tacoma, and then just a very brief 2-mile backup there at the JBLM main gate. Bellevue to South Center is a half hour, but you're slow from Northeast 60th in Kirkland all the way down to the Renton Landing, another backup through South Center. KIRO Newsradio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
I've been talking to a lot of patients from Dr. Mark Wagner's office here, Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. I talked to one lady. She lives out in Lake Chelan, and she said, the worst thing was when the doctor said to me, well, I hope you've enjoyed all your years of skiing and running. You're probably not going to be able to do that ever again. She said, it just hit me like a ton of bricks. I love to ski. I love to run. So she goes to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD. He's done 20,000 stem cell procedures. He takes a look at the x-rays. He goes, no, there's no reason that you can't run and ski again. Let's do this procedure. It's a 90-minute outpatient procedure. It worked for her. I talked to her the other day on the air. And it's worked for me. I can't wait to start running again. I've done tons of half marathons and half 5Ks and everything else. And all I need to do, I go see Dr. Mark Wagner next week. I can't wait for him to start to take a look, because I did the procedure just about 3 or 4 weeks ago, maybe 5 weeks ago. I want him to eventually say, the stem cell procedure worked for you, Curly. Go out there, have a great time, and run again. So if you've been told you got a bad shoulder, hip, ankle, wrist, knee, and you'll never run again, you'll never ski again, never enjoy that, you got to get in touch with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD.com.
The Northwest's trusted news source, KIRO News Radio.
Police in Federal Way are investigating what appears to be a car explosion.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is live from the neighborhood.
I can't tell you enough how crazy this scene is here.
Coverage you depend on.
A massive police presence in Kent.
From voices you know and trust.
We have an active fire inside one of these buildings here.
KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
This is Chris Davis with the Davis Law Group. Did you know that a pedestrian does not have to be crossing the street on a marked crosswalk to have a successful legal claim against the driver? Pedestrians can even be partially at fault for a collision and still have a valuable claim. Call us today for a free consultation or get my free book on pedestrian accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com. That's Davis Law Group, better service and even better results.
Jason Rance here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn from None Better Tax Resolution. When it comes to the technology that the IRS is using, they're updating systems that haven't been updated in decades. And while that might sound great for them, it's usually bad for the taxpayer who owes.
It is, and their systems, unfortunately, they're just legacy systems. If you try to make an inquiry on some things, it's like you got to know how to use programming language to find it. But they are working on updating that system, and I hope that really they do, because it'll serve us better, the taxpayer better, and get things done quicker. The other thing they're doing is AI, just like every organization. So they're already using it to some extent to put in profile of certain things that they want to look for in a taxpayer and find those people and go after them or see what's going on, why they're not getting their money.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, call Greg Nunn, None Better Tax Resolution, 425-947-1967, or Google NUNN, None Better Tax Resolution.
Are your investment dollars working as hard as they should be? You've spent years building your future. Don't let outdated advice put it at risk. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. We're a veteran-owned firm proud to bring a new standard of financial care to the Seattle area. Our nationally recognized advisors are fiduciaries, ethically bound to put your interests first. That's the highest standard of care in the industry. As a privately held company, we answer to you, our valued clients, not shareholders. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a customized plan. From Bellevue to Tacoma, get advice you can count on. It's time to take a fresh look at your financial plan. Call Trajan Wealth, 206-656-3300. That's 206-656-3300. Trajan Wealth. Plan smarter, dream bigger.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
The insurance world, it can be confusing, so have First Mark Insurance guide you through it by taking the free First Mark Challenge. They'll explore offerings from top carriers for better coverage and lower rates. They save the Heward family thousands. Go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio, KIRO FM, and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. The U.S. House is set to soon vote on a bill to fund the government through January, which would end the shutdown. Some Democrats say they cannot support the bill, including House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries.
I rise today in strong opposition to this woefully inadequate spending bill that fails to decisively address the Republican health care crisis and fails to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits for tens of millions of Americans.
House Majority Leader Steve Scalise.
The high premiums that everybody faces today are a result of the inaptly named Affordable Care Act and the many failures associated with it.
Top Republicans are confident they have the votes needed to pass it. Amid the FAA flight cuts due to the shutdown, people flying through Boston are keeping their fingers crossed that their flight is not delayed or canceled. WBZ reporter James Rojas.
Tragic what's happening with our nation, but I haven't been inconvenienced yet.
It's that yet part that has folks flying out, keeping their fingers crossed and their eyes on their flight status.
I don't think I've ever looked at the flight information as much as I have.
Meanwhile, air traffic has been reduced by 6%.
House Democrats earlier today released 3 emails from the Jeffrey Epstein estate that appear to show the convicted sex offender believed President Trump knew more about his conduct than the president has acknowledged. CBS's Scott McFarlane with reaction.
Republicans on that panel have responded to this release, saying that these excerpts were cherry-picked by Democrats and part of a broader document set. You heard the White House making a similar criticism that they say this was a leaked set of records to friendly media by Democrats on this panel.
Democrats have also gotten the 218 signatures needed on a petition to require the Justice Department to release the Epstein files. House Speaker Mike Johnson says he'll bring the Massey-Khanna bill for a floor vote next week. U.S. airstrikes have targeted at least 20 vessels in the waters around Latin America, killing dozens of people. The Trump administration says it's part of an effort to combat drug trafficking, although they've released limited information. The USS Gerald Ford has crossed into the U.S. Southern Command's area of responsibility, which includes the Caribbean. CBS's Charlie D'Agata.
This is not the kind of military package that you would see in a drug interdiction operation. This is something you would see as a flex, but it's about optics as much as anything else. And as has been said with the Navy and pretty much everybody around the world, there is no single flex like a United States aircraft carrier.
Detroit Tigers ace Tariq Skubal wins the AL Cy Young Award for the second straight year, and Pittsburgh Pirates right-hander Paul Skenes wins the NL Cy Young Award. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Coming up, it appears the race for Seattle mayor is over. That's after Nate Connors at the real-time traffic desk.
Thank you, Aaron. Seattle Sports has the update. Puyallup, we already cleared that collision westbound 512 at Canyon Road, but it left it with a solid backup as you head into that South Hill curve. Eastbound 512, crowded from I-5 over to Portland Avenue, just volume here. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway is a 50-minute drive. We're heavy between Renton and Kent. You'll catch a nice breather, and then heavy again from Pacific into Puyallup. Tacoma to Olympia, 40 minutes. You're slow along South Tacoma, and then just a brief couple-mile backup there at the JBLM main gate. Bellevue to South Center, a half hour. You're slow now from 520 down to the Renton Landing, and then another thick backup down there through South Center. Seattle to Federal Way, a 40-minute commute. You're heavy from MLK Junior Way to 516. Linwood to Seattle has gone up to 35 minutes. We're now solid approaching Lake City Way down to I-90, and Seattle to Everett and Bellevue to Everett are both hovering at 1 hour. You can always listen to your favorite local sports content on the FM dial on 97.3 HD2. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good evening, I'm Aaron Granillo. Seattle's mayoral race now appears to be decided. Katie Wilson holding a nearly 2,000 vote lead over Bruce Harrell. She spoke to reporters this week about the support she's received from young voters.
To have young people come up to me and tell me that this was the first vote that they were casting and that they were excited to vote for me, that has just really warmed my heart.
Now, some outlets have called the race for Wilson, but it is not official yet. A recount is still possible. Harrell plans to address the city tomorrow at noon. Washington businesses say it is getting tougher than ever to operate in our state. KIRO News Radio's Jillian Raftery reports.
A new survey of more than 400 employers shows confidence is slipping as taxes climb. The Association of Washington Business reports 65% of respondents now rank taxes as their top concern. 3 out of 4 businesses say they've been hit by new sales and B&O tax hikes, and more than half are passing those costs on to customers. Employers also cite rising healthcare costs, regulations, and tariffs as added pressure. Nearly 4 in 10 expect a recession within a year.
Up to 10,000 more low-income Washington children will have access to free preschool each year, starting in 2026. The Balmer Group's Andy Smith announced a major gift to the state's early childhood education and assistance program.
At Balmer Group, we focus on helping kids move up the economic ladder.
Governor's office says grants from the Balmer Group gifts could top $1 billion over the next decade. Shake-up in Pullman. Washington State University has dismissed athletic director Ann McCoy. Her tenure lasted less than 2 years. School announced today that John Harlow, the department's COO, will take over on an interim basis. McCoy guided Cougar athletics through the Pac-12 breakup. Weather now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. We are starting to see some rain increase tonight. Off and on rainfall tomorrow with some occasional downpours for Thursday. Right now, 55 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Hi, you've reached the John Curley Show listener introduction line.
Okay.
Please tell us a little bit
start.
about yourself and why you enjoy the show.
Why you enjoy
Thank
the show. This is essential.
My favorite meal of all time is one of those double-cut pork chops. Hopefully you're paying. Just kidding. I'll pay. Boy, that's really making me nervous. Oh, I think absolutely. I agree that the early bird gets the worm. But I've also seen worms in the afternoon. Oh, the best piece of advice I ever got was from my grandpa, and he said, don't fry bacon when you're naked. I've never done it naked, but I've done it with my shirt off, and I've got the scars to prove it.
Again, nothing about the show. You're editing out the nice stuff. You're intentionally editing out the stuff that you're just going to random things. What was the advice we got the other lady to never sell your underwear for under $50?
Yeah.
Who the hell listens to this show? What are we doing here?
Huh?
What are we doing?
Are we live?
Nothing in the news! Think about Arthur Miller's The Crucible. When Miller wrote that great play, he placed it back at the time of the witch hunt, but really it was about the 1950s. Are you now, have you been a member of the Communist Party? What was happening there? We had our own sort of crucible, Arthur Miller witch hunt that was occurring in 2020 when we decided we were going to have a racial reckoning across the United States. And a number of people's lives got swept up in that, and many of them were unable to defend themselves against the onslaught, the tidal wave of accusations. A teacher, Ed Roos, joins us on the phone. Ed, this nightmare, which I'm not going to make you relive all of it again, has basically robbed you of your ability to teach something that you are been drawn to and have loved for so many years. So just give us the devastating sort of facts that led to you not being able to get a job anywhere.
Yeah. So just to add to that, I did teach for Seattle schools for 11 years. And at the end, I was a principal and administrator for the last 6 years. So as a principal, I had a staff member who was going through progressive discipline for arriving after the school bell on multiple times. I'll add as a kindergarten teacher. So we're talking about leaving 4 and 5-year-olds alone in the hallway. And in my opinion, as a retribution to that, she created a false story that I'd put a Black child in a cage, when in reality, I was literally playing ball with him in a play court with about 5 other adults. And this story she leaked to the media. It went viral, and the district said they needed to save face, and they forced me out of a job that I had loved. And, I'd been there 17 years, an exemplary career there with no reprimands, no disciplines whatsoever.
Yeah, I was reading about what they told you was that yes, we can't find any evidence that any of this is true, but we're just going to have to let you go.
That was the gist of it. Yes. On a Friday, they came to me and said, we're going to let you go. By Sunday night, we're getting texts from Principal Association of Seattle Schools rep, basically a principal's union rep, telling me that I needed to hurry up and sign a separation agreement or I would face some further investigations. And it was just getting crazy at that time. It was the fall of 2020. Things were heating up. And I was forced out.
But Ed, did you know by signing that thing, you're basically signing your death warrant to ever be able to teach again?
I did not know at the time. I was kind of led to believe that signing that would actually possibly kill the story that a reporter had been poking around and trying to do. The district led me to believe that they wouldn't cooperate with the story. And typically in stories, districts would say, we don't comment on personnel issues. But in this case, they went a little further and called it egregious and whatnot. But, that came back to haunt them later.
So right now, if someone were to search, the first thing that comes up is all of that garbage, right? And so this thing hangs on you. And, right now I see that you're volunteering and still trying to keep teaching, and you're still trying to do what you can, found solace in volunteering at a local nonprofit. But your income, which I think the last time I checked was like when you were working as an assistant principal or principal, was $125,000. That's a lot of money to have to try to replace as a volunteer at a nonprofit.
Not quite there yet. You're right. So, I lost my livelihood, my job, a career I'd worked so hard for. You're right. A certain level of income that I had worked very hard for. I switched mid-career to go into teaching because I really wanted to make a difference for students. I'd been a volunteer at Special Olympics. I've been coaching soccer on the side, and decided that's what I love doing, is working with children and making a difference. So I make a mid-career switch. I made a lot of sacrifice to do that. I went back, got my master's degree, taught for a while, became a principal, and then this story goes just absolutely berserk. It starts with he was putting someone in this space like a cage. And then these headlines came out, which I wrote one down, that, like principal locked Black special needs boy in cage like animal. It came out as that. And It was just all a big hoax. It was just false.
The teacher, there's all the union rules and stuff, so you have to go through the process. So you're coming in late. You're coming in late. I'm going to have to write you up, and then this and that and that. So you assume you went through all the processing to tell this person, look, here's the deal. You can't let these kindergartners sit in the classroom. You're coming in late, 15, 20, or 30 minutes late or something. This is a problem. You need to address this. You need to change your behavior. I'm assuming you went through all of that because it's very bureaucratic, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And then I guess she decided, because in the present environment in 2020, there were DEI training classes where white attendees had to take a sign, write on the sign, I am a racist, wear the sign, take a photo of themselves, and then post it on social media.
We were encouraged to do that. At the conclusion of a DEI training, the presenter said that at the end. He said, basically, all white people are racist. Take a sign, write I'm a racist on it, and post it on social media. And by the way, here is an example of someone who's done this in the past. And he shows a picture of somebody with the sign around their neck on social media. And I think that that's where DEI was in 2020. It had simply gone to the point where it was blatant racist stuff, is saying all white people are racist. It had just gotten out of control. And then what happens is that when you establish in an organization that all white people are racist, then everything you do or say is looked through the lens of being a racist. And I just felt like you just couldn't win at that point.
Right. So the individual that you had reprimanded for coming in late, is this person still working in the school district? Do you know?
I don't believe so. I haven't kept up with her, obviously, but I will say that she did work there after the incident came down and hit the fan in the fall of 2020 for another year or so.
Yeah.
But I don't keep up with her, obviously.
So you could get all this behind you. You could contact the Washington Post. You could contact KUOW. You could contact all of these. I'm going to use the word journalism. I'm going to put the air quotes around that because I don't think this is journalism. I think this is just this witch hunt that was happening there. What do you have to do to call? You get it off the Washington Post. What do you have to do there, Ed?
Well, I'll tell you that right after it came out, I called KUOW and I talked to someone there. It was higher up. And I told them that this was all fake news, that this should never have been out there. I gave them the evidence that it was fake news, and I asked them to take it down. And their response to me in email was, we will not take it down, but we can add a post note to it. But she said, if I add a post note, it will bring the article back up into the forefront. And I just didn't want to give it more attention at that point. So I kind of let it go, but they refused to take it down. I think to get any of these taken, I looked into it legally. It's expensive. There's organizations out there that will do it for you. I was given quotes of $10,000 plus. I was given a quote from an attorney who would go after him for me at $3,000 a pop. But there were dozens of articles out there, and I had just lost my job and my income.
There is an event coming up. It was on the 17th for you and for others. What is that event about that you're going to be participating in?
It is with an organization called Foundation Against Intolerance and Racism, which is the acronym FAIR for All. You could Google them and find out. And on the 17th, we're doing a webinar on teaching during dividing times.
Mm-hmm. I looked up in France, in the EU, they have the right to be forgotten, which is a law that was established that you could simply say to the internet, I don't want this stuff up there anymore. It's been haunting me. It started with, I guess, revenge porn sort of stuff, and then they kept expanding it. So there in France, you could just simply write, take all that down, and they have to legally take it down. California has something similar to it. I saw that Washington doesn't have anything about it, but there's a couple of legislators there, 2018, they wanted the Internet Bill of Rights that would allow stuff to be just taken away. So somebody falsely accuses you. The media picks it up because they love those stories. And then they add the word in there, animal and cage and white and black, right? Because that's going to get a lot of clicks because, of course, we are the most racist country in the world last time I checked in 2020. So you become a victim of this thing. So you're just thrown onto the pile of others that needed to be cast aside because we need, to adjust for the 400 years of oppression. So at this point, what's your only move, Ed?
I just kind of I'm so glad you brought that up because it was frustrating to me that all of this false media was allowed to sit out there and be out there forever. So, as the article states, if I try and get a job now, they're going to Google and see those. And I don't seem to have any control of getting those off without spending a ton of money, but there's no guarantee. I think if we don't, do something similar, we do not fix our libel and defamation laws, it's going to continue to happen. As far as my next move, I just really at this point want to clear my name. I am happy and ecstatic to be sharing this story, and that now on the internet, people can choose. You could read the false articles that are out there that sound ridiculous about putting someone in a cage in 2020, which is absolutely ludicrous. Who would ever believe that in the first place? Or you could believe my story that's now out there in the forefront. And so my hope would be that now as employers are looking at that, they'll kind of see the full truth to it.
And you're not just sitting at home crying about this. You've applied for a number of jobs.
Right. And I've been getting rejected. Immediately afterwards, I wanted to get right back in the education. I tried to get administration jobs. I listed in the article the responses I was getting. I was banned from other districts. They were basically saying, we heard what you did in the previous district, and therefore we're not going to have a position for you in this district. I tried to apply for a substitute teacher job as recently as 2024, and once again got a reject. Just saying, because of your history with another district, we're not going to hire you as a substitute teacher. So I am more or less banned from education, at least in this area. But this is my home. John, I was born and raised in Seattle. My family's here, my friends. I have friends I've known since preschool. And I'm not leaving here, but I feel as though I'm blacklisted from ever working in education again.
Okay, so do you accept that? Because, the definition of insanity, doing the same thing, expecting a different outcome. You've been mortally wounded from teaching. So the next step is volunteer work and nonprofit. But you have to be able to pay the bills, right, Ed?
I started as a volunteer at a nonprofit up here in Everett. It's a community bike program called Sharing Wheels. Support them if you can. Great organization. Love working there. However, you're right. Nonprofit's not going to pay the bills for my family. It's a part-time job. It's the best I could do right now. I love the job. I love the people I work with. It's a great cause. But my passion is in education, and it's where I want to get back to. So I am trying to forge that path again. And to do that, I need to first clear my name.
I would think, Ed, that the charter schools or private schools, they would have a place for you because they tended not to dive into, some private schools anyway, didn't dive into the all white people are racist malarkey. There would seem to be that they would be certainly excited to have somebody with your background and your knowledge and your experience.
I would say that I did have the most positive feedback from parochial schools in Seattle. I had a lot of support from them. But again, these were pretty harsh headlines to get over, and I think even they were.
But Ed, they're not true. I don't care if the headline, right? They're worth nothing of the ink that's printed on them, or KUOW putting up something like that. Did they ever call you? Anybody that wrote any of these articles? I think King 5 did one. Did they call you and get you to come on camera and explain it?
Not one. That's a good point.
That's great journalism. So the guy that's accused, we don't need to talk to him. We just need to talk to the angry woman that I assume they talked to her, right? But they didn't call you?
Can I clarify? The original story, yes, they did call me. I spoke to him off record. But there were dozens of follow-up stories. I was the headline story. I don't know if I want to name the news organization. You want me to name them?
I don't care. It's up to you.
Well, I won't. But I was the headline on local news here locally, and the lead story, and they did not call me to participate. They didn't call from my side. And John, I just want to add that.
By the way, Ed, I know who that is. We don't need to say it, but you're giving them far more credit when you refer to them as a news organization.
This organization, John.
Yes.
Okay. But here's what I'd like to say as far as people hiring me. If you have two applicants and you're looking at these two applicants and you're going, hey, here's this person who's been in education for 20 years and no history no bad history. Or I got this guy who's been in education for 20 years. However, there's an accusation that he put a kid in a cage. I mean, who are you going to choose?
Well, if I was a smart employer, I would interview both. I would also do my research as to who accused the person. And then I would also just dig a little harder. But if you just want to easily just go, we'll choose this person over that person because we don't want the liability, we want the damage. We don't want the activists that promoted the lies regarding all white people are racist because they know, well, we don't want a bunch of parents or a bunch of activists coming after us. So let's just make the easy choice. And somebody like you and the children that you would be serving and educating are the lesser for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, I hope something great comes from the thing on the 17th. And then as your story gets out and more people go to it, it pushes down the sewage. Yeah. And up at the top of the searches for you, Ed, comes the truth. And hopefully that sets you free and gets you employed.
And I hear the music. I think I got to go. Thanks for saying that. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, wow. You've done enough radio. You hear the music. You know you got to go. We got to throw to Nate over there. All right, Ed, let's get back to
come over and pull me off. Can I say something quickly, though?
Yeah.
I've been a longtime fan. 12 years ago, do you remember Ryan from Shoreline came and sang the Mailman song?
Yes.
On We're in Tom John. That's my son, Ryan Roos. So now you've had my wife, you've had me, you've had my son. You got to get my daughter on here, John.
All right. All right. Well,
she's
next on the list. Thank you. Appreciate that, Ed. We're going to traffic. Take him in, Nate, what's going on out there?
Hey, that's awesome. Seattle Sports has the update. Seattle to Everett will take you an hour. It's slow from 520 through North Linwood, heavy between the U District and Northgate. Bellevue to Everett, 55 minutes. North 405 and Northeast 4th and Bellevue. Traffic jams up there. I'm not seeing anything on the cameras, but you're backed up to I-90, and then it's pretty solid from Kirkland into Alderwood. Crossing the lake from Bellevue, 20 to 25 minutes on both I-90 and 520. In Kirkland, south 405 and Northeast 116th, we've got a new collision fully blocking the on-ramp. Bellevue to South Center, 35 minutes. You're slow from mid-Bellevue to the Renton Landing. Another backup in South Center. Seattle to Federal Way, plan on 40 minutes, and Tacoma to Olympia's at 45 minutes. Download the Seattle Sports app to stay in the know with the latest news, scores, and opinions about your favorite teams. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
I've been working with Longevity Medical Clinic since 2009. I've been a patient. I was drawn to the fact that they've been around for 25 years, and they are really the forerunners to the science of longevity. There's a whole bunch of Johnny-come-latelys that are out there right now, but Longevity Medical Clinic has been the first in when we can look at science, we can look at early indicators of how you're aging, and we can be proactive rather than reactive. Proactive. I can't wait to go back in again. I think it's about a week from now. I do another blood draw because I still need to get my cholesterol numbers in place. I don't want to get on statins. No, thank you. There's a whole bunch of side effects to those things. So me and my doctors at Longevity Medical Clinic are going to bring down the cholesterol numbers because I inherited some pretty bad genes when it comes to heart disease. And they have been working with me, and I can't wait to get those numbers to find out how we've been proactive to extend my life, to keep heart disease, diabetes, and cancer away as long as possible. You should be proactive right now. Take the free health analysis at longevitymedicalclinic.com.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan, presented by Carter Subaru.
It is by far one of the worst non-freeway choke points we have. Getting into Snohomish every afternoon. You know what I'm talking about. But relief is on the way. A new bridge and widening project is already starting. This is Sully. I'll have the story Thursday morning on Seattle's Morning News.
Get all of Sully's choke points at mynorthwest.com and the KIRO Newsradio app.
The stock market's on fire. AI stocks are performing at all-time levels. We hope you, like many of our investors, have taken advantage of it. A famous man once said, buy low, sell high. There's also $8 trillion of cash sitting on the sidelines. Investors are either scared or they don't know where to go. Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Legacy Group Capital develops local real estate, lends money, and shares profit with our investors. We've been doing it for 19 years, averaging double-digit returns with zero investor losses. Diversify with Legacy Group Capital and invest in our family of funds. From a 3-year investment with double-digit returns to only a 90-day commitment returning 7%. We also accept IRAs. Find out why 1,300 local investors have invested over $350 million.
Legacy Group Capital at LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Jason Rance here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn from None Better Tax Resolution. So you and I have talked before about the folks who think they can do this themselves. And again, I imagine there are a lot of people who are saying, well, new administration, fewer staff members, now I truly can get it done.
Really, in this situation, I do feel really bad for the taxpayer because here you're getting a notice. You call the IRS, you're going to be on hold for 45 minutes to an hour. And so getting through is going to be more difficult. And when you do get through, you're going to be talking to people that are not as well trained as they have been in the past.
Which makes it even easier for them to take advantage, even if it's not intended, against the person who owes taxes.
I've heard it said that they just will make up something because they want to respond to the taxpayer. And people are going to get some really bad information and they're not going to know.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, call Greg Nunn, None Better Tax Resolution, 425-947-1967, or Google NUNN, None Better Tax Resolution.
With football season comes cooler weather, so if you need new windows and doors, don't drop the ball. Steve Rabel here. Call on locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington to tackle your project. Their wide selection of windows and doors always beats the competition, and they'll give you top-notch customer service with no trick plays. Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Go to PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
Your old furnace ain't nice, and your toes are like ice. DayandNight.net. This month, Day and Night gives you a free furnace with the installation of an AC or heat pump.
If you're not sure your furnace will make it through another winter, call us to install a proper, long-lasting, efficient heating system backed by our lifetime workmanship guarantee, so you won't be left out in the cold.
Install an AC or heat pump and get a free furnace from Day and Night Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
DayandNight.net.
I love the fact that Mike Novak sells more homes than anybody else. This guy works so hard. You know what's happening? People are selling their homes again. And if you don't have Mike Novak's name on that sign, well, you're wasting your time and your house is just going to be sitting on the market. Mike is so confident that he can sell your house quickly. And for more, you'll pay no commission if Mike Novak doesn't sell that home in 21 days. So go to meetthenovaks.com. I'll spell Novaks for you. Novaks. Meetthenovaks.com.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
KIRO Newsradio. Breaking news.
And good evening. I'm Aaron Granillo. Moments ago on the U.S. House floor.
On this vote, the yeas are 222, the nays are 209. The bill is passed.
Members vote to end the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. Nearly every Democrat voted no, including Washington Representative Pramila Jayapal.
Shame on you. I'm a hell no on this bill.
But 6 Democrats did cross party lines, among them Washington Congresswoman Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez. In a statement, she says now is the time for Congress to get back to work and build an economy where people are not yanked around by partisan interests. Well, it is not official yet, but Katie Wilson appears to be headed to Seattle City Hall. She's now holding a nearly 2,000 vote lead over Bruce Harrell. This week, Wilson said she's confident she's going to win.
I'm a community organizer. I'm not going to stop being a community organizer in office. And that means that I really want to engage people, especially young people, especially people that maybe feel that their voice has not been heard in City Hall.
Harrell says he will speak to the people of Seattle tomorrow at noon. A recount is still possible, though there are many media outlets now calling the race for Wilson. There was a sharp rise in the number of arsons across Seattle last month. KIRO News Radio's Frank Lenzi explains.
Police tell the Seattle Times 33 arsons were reported in October. That's the highest monthly total since 2020. Some of them were in South Seattle, including a string of 8 set in one night from North Beacon Hill to Mount Baker. Police are trying to figure out how many of all these fires are connected. They've made 25 arrests on suspicion of arson this year. 6 of those arrests were in October. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Well, your coffee run could hit a snag tomorrow when thousands of Starbucks baristas plan to strike. KIRO 7 TV's Dee Dee Sun.
It is happening on one of the company's busiest days of the year, Red Cup Day. Baristas say they will strike if the company can't finalize that labor contract. Starbucks says it's disappointed the workers authorized to strike instead of bargaining further.
Union says the strike will hit stores in more than 25 cities nationwide starting at 4 p.m. Company says only a handful of locations will be impacted, and it adds Starbucks is committed to bargaining in good faith. Takes us to 5:33, and Nate Connors is at the real-time traffic desk.
Thanks, Aaron. In Kirkland, southbound 405 at Northeast 116th, a collision is fully blocking the on-ramp to southbound 405. Seattle to Everett and Bellevue to Everett are both hovering at 1 hour right now. 405 slows from Bellevue all the way into Alderwood. I-5 is slow from 520 through North Linwood. Pretty heavy between Northgate and the U District. Linwood to Seattle, we're at 35 minutes. Your backups now starts about 92nd coming out of Northgate down to I-90. Crossing the lake from Bellevue, still about 25 minutes on both I-90 and 520, which is really good, especially for this time of day. Bellevue to South Center, 35 minutes. You're slow from mid-Bellevue down to the Renton Landing. Catch a little breather, and we've got this backup, though. It is thinning out, but it's still there in South Center. Seattle to Federal Way, 40-minute commute. You're heavy from MLK Junior Way to 516. And Tacoma to Olympia, plan on 45 minutes. It's crowded through South Tacoma. You've got a brief 2-mile backup there at the JBLM main gate, and then a little more slowing as you head into Olympia. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
And your forecast now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Rain incoming. It'll stick around off and on tonight. Same for tomorrow with some downpours at times on Thursday. Right now, 56 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Nice to have Nate there on the camera for no reason. Ooh. Yeah, okay.
Fish eye.
You're ready, everybody. Teeny, if you would be so kind, if you just push the button that says spin wheel. That's Wilcox Family Farm Eggs recipe wheel. Names of all the players are on the wheel. It's always exciting to find out who it's going to land on. We never know. All the colors lighting up. It is quite a sight to see. And it lands on Joe.
Oh, come on.
I have nothing to do with Teeny.
I defer to Aaron. I pass.
No, you really
can't.
You can't pass. What? You can't pass.
I got nothing for you today. I'm running around all day.
He's running around.
Running around.
He did a half marathon the other day.
That's true.
Wow. Who knew? Okay, I like the Costco. No, this isn't a recipe.
No, this is the same thing with the eggs, the hard-boiled eggs. You eat them.
These are the hockey puck eggs that you throw in the microwave for 20 seconds. And you put a little hole in them, pour some salsa in. They're delicious. They come in little sealed packs. You can just pop one out.
Why would you want to yield to Aaron when he had that kind of brilliance?
Well, you know,
Come on now.
I didn't want to hog this thing.
You're just.
I don't like,
You're just shy. Your brilliance.
Exactly.
Yeah,
what
happened to your recipe list from your wife?
I don't know. I forgot.
Whatever. It's Wilcox Family Farm Eggs recipe. Thank you very much. Thank you. There,
Can you do the Count from Sesame Street's laugh?
No.
Okay.
I don't want to attempt it because then people just scorulate you on the air.
Yeah, everybody was giving me they're still giving me grief. Okay. Andrew?
I have an example here. Do you want me to do mine?
Yeah.
Well, that was like mine.
Why are we doing this?
You do one, John.
3 fabulous flyers.
Okay,
because somebody sent in a text yesterday and you read it and then said,
yeah, and Andrew and Ted Beaner, everybody was giving me grief over my my count laugh.
You got a million other things going on. You can't be working on your count laugh.
What's yours sound like though?
No, we don't want to do it again because he's going to get people are going to get mad at him.
Oh.
I think it was just ha, ha, ha.
There used to be a guy that always running for office in Seattle, and he would go to the city council meetings and scream and yell. He sounded like the Count.
Really?
I think we had him on once.
Oh.
Remember that guy?
No, we reached out to him, and then you backed out. You're like, yeah, I changed my mind.
I did?
Yes, he sounds like Dracula.
Yeah, just like Dracula. Yeah. And he's yelling and screaming and everything. Oh. Yeah, and he's run for office. This story as you're putting in another hour, when do we get the 40-hour work week? It's about time for it to end. The United States has been battling the 40-hour work week for a very, very long time. Back in the beginning of the whole thing, it was like 1910, 1920, they were trying to do 8-8-8. There was a 6-6. You work 6 hours, 6 days. There were people that wanted to work just 4 hours. This thing had been kicking around for a long time. Roosevelt supported Hugo Black, who was a senator at the time, when he said, let's just do how about we do a 32-hour work week? A 32-hour work week, that'll be good, because we've got some unemployment problems, so we'll split the job in half. The one, Bob's going to work 32, and then, Susan's going to come along and work 32, so that would be good. It would help with unemployment. So Roosevelt, at the last minute, decided he was going to withdraw his support for the thing. He had gone to the corporations and said, listen, support this, and then I won't come after you with a whole bunch of federal regulations, and I won't come after you and sue you on a bunch of other stuff. That's the way that man worked. And they were like, oh, God, okay, we'll go along with it. But then it eventually turned out they set this thing up. The NRA was established in 1933, and basically they set up the government was going to do codes for 800 different industries, how many hours you'd have to work, how long the work week would be, how many weeks you would need to work. And then, thank God, the Supreme Court came along and said, that's unconstitutional. Why are you doing something like that? So the idea of how many hours somebody needs to work, that the government got involved in order to try to make everybody happy. The unions happy, the employers happy, and everybody else happy. People were working like 6 hours a week, and then they'd also have to work on a Saturday. So that's why when you used to watch an old clips, black and white films of somebody at a baseball game, it's like, why is everybody in a tie and a hat and a jacket? Because they just come from work. Yeah.
Wow. How about that for a callback?
You learned something there.
I've been thinking about that all day.
The UAW demanded in 1950 that there would be, they said that you would work for 30 years, and then you'd be able to retire, and you would only work 30 hours a week. That thing didn't go anywhere. And the compromise that most employers ended up with, I'll tell you what, we can't give you the extra days off. You got to work 40 hours, 5 days a week, but we'll give you more holidays. So that was where they sort of worked it all out. But this has been going on for a long time. 100 and some years ago, people were working 16 hours and 6 days a week, and a fairly miserable life that most people had, standing over some sort of instrument, some computer or gigantic machine. With computers, but gigantic machines is that all of a sudden you turn away because you're falling asleep on the job, and then the machine sucks you in, and the next thing you know, you're knitted into somebody's rug.
It happens.
It did. So the 40-hour work week will be going away because people now realize the computer, the AI, has been able to reduce the amount of work that needs to be done. So it looks like some people will go down to a 4-hour work week, but still be able to get
4
hours.
A week?
No, I'm sorry, 4 a day.
Okay.
4 hours a day. In the little town of Island County in Washington, they said, we can't get people to work here. We need people to work, nurses and park stewards and laborers for equipment. So rather than giving everybody a raise to get them to stay, because it's hard to get there, and they just had such high turnover, they said, let's do this. You work for 35 hours, but we'll pay you for 40. So rather than trying to continue to increase people's paychecks, they said, how about we just give you more free time? And then everybody would be happy with that.
Were they?
Yeah, apparently, last article I saw in 2025, they said it's working out pretty well. At first, people are upset, like, well, that's not fair. I pay you to I'm going to come in and, go to the licensing, or you're working in the government. You should be there when I need to get there. They said, well, listen, it's costing us more with higher turnover. Would you rather not have anybody in the window when you walk up to it? Would you rather have somebody there for 35 hours for the week getting paid for 40? So it works all out. And the 8-8-8, 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of work, and 8 hours of rest was always sort of been the established thing. But most people know that a lot of people work more than 40 hours a week, 44 hours a week, or 50 hours a week, or 60 hours a week. In France, and they make it illegal to work any more than a certain number of hours. And plus, you can't send your employee an email after work, or you can be fined. Yeah, the shorter hours are coming, according to the Wall Street Journal in the article. Eventually, they say it's about time that it ends. In 2025, Gallup poll shows that 40% of full-time employees work 40 hours, while 38% work 41 to 51 hours, and 15% work 60 hours. The amount of time you have fits the amount of work to do it in. Parkinson's law. If I said to you, I'm going to give you 6 hours to stack all that wood, guess how long it would take you to stack the wood?
6 hours.
Right. If I said to you, stack it all in 3 hours, I'll pay you for 6 hours, you'd stack it in 3 hours, right? Because people go, well, I get 8 hours, they're going to pay me for 8, so I'll look like I'm working for 8. How many hours do you think people actually spend working? I mean, now, because employers are able to look, are you online? Are you moving around the keyboard? Are you answering the questions? Are you working at Safeway? What's your scanning rate? Because they want to look. They want to see, am I getting enough from you? Oof. And did they have to do that because people were just slackers and not working that hard?
I think so. I think there's a lot of jobs where people just, they're it's 50-50. They're doing work, they're scrolling Instagram.
Rye told me when he worked at Home Depot in Florida, he said there's people they would hire that would just walk around, never help anybody, just do big giant circles, and then go into the break room, sit there in the break room like, okay, I guess I better go back out and just walk around. He's there stacking wood and moving ladders. Or can I get some help over here? No, I'm walking. I got a break.
Walking here.
I'm walking here. Here comes Nate. He's always working. Nate, checking traffic. Nate,
Yes, sir. We're getting busy out there, John. In Kirkland, we've still got this collision. It's on Northeast 116th going eastbound, fully blocking the on-ramp to southbound 405. So the off-ramp to 116th from northbound 405 now is all jammed up because drivers aren't able to make that left turn westbound on 116th. It's just a mess in that intersection. In Puyallup, we've got a new collision eastbound 512 at Benson Drive. 3-car collision in your left lane. This is just past the Puyallup River Bridge, and you're backed up bumper to bumper to the South Hill curve. Renton to Puyallup has improved. We're down to 40 minutes. Seattle to Everett and Bellevue to Everett are right around 55-minute drives. Linwood to Seattle, a 35-minute commute. You're heavy from basically Northgate down to I-90 now. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
All right, most guys over the age of 50, I would assume, don't know who their primary care physician is. And you say that proudly because, I don't need to see a doctor. I see a doctor when I'm sick. Yeah, the problem is with that sort of philosophy, I'm not scolding you. I understand that. It's I don't want to go to the doctor. I don't have anything wrong with me. Well, you think there's nothing wrong with you, but if you were to do a blood draw and then a blood test at Longevity Medical Clinic, they most likely would see a whole bunch of early indicators of some problems that are starting to develop. And what happens is by the time you notice that you're not feeling well, that's a problem that could have been addressed earlier if you were proactive. The doctors there at Longevity Medical Clinic for 25 years using the latest science to extend your life. It's in their name, longevity. They are proactive. You get yourself a doctor like I've had since 2009, 4 times a year, a blood draw, and then 1 hour on the phone or in person. And they do everything they can to look for the early indicators of why you are slowing down, what age is affecting you, and they make the changes. You work with them and you have a longer life. Starts with you being proactive by taking the free health analysis at longevitymedicalclinic.com.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan, presented by Carter Subaru.
It is by far one of the worst non-freeway choke points we have. Getting into Snohomish every afternoon. You know what I'm talking about. But relief is on the way. A new bridge and widening project is already starting. This is Sully. I'll have the story Thursday morning on Seattle's Morning News.
Get all of Sully's choke points at mynorthwest.com and the KIRO Newsradio app.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Ma, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotions. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotions, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. That's why they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $25 a month. And if you're a business owner, you could really save a fortune. Dial pound 250, say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. Everything you need and nothing you don't.
The team that gave me back my full head of hair, Advanced Hair, is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. Dr. Perungo and his world-class team begin regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. And Advanced Hair guarantees your new hair will grow, just like they did for me. Find out why Advanced Hair is the best of the best. With your free consultation, you'll receive $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
A 15-year-old girl who chewed through a rope to escape a serial killer.
I used my front teeth to saw on the rope in my mouth.
The killer prowled the Pacific Northwest in the early 70s. He's been convicted of murdering 2 young women, but suspected of many more.
Maybe there's another one in that area.
Follow and binge all episodes of Stolen Voices of Dole Valley, available now wherever you listen.
Hi, I'm Justin Shirley. We offer 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 24 months on new roofs. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
The John Curley Show mailbag is brought to you by Pendergast Law.
All right, is Hudson getting the full version, or are we just doing the truncated?
Sure.
Just cutting? Really? But
Mess with me.
Mess with him.
On a mailman. Everything new on a mailman. Bring the mail to you.
Oh, so close. We'll get the letter of the day. First, take care of all the rest. Here we go.
Tina in the 425 said, John, you mentioned Felix. Is
Yes.
he okay? I miss him dearly. I hope he or someone else writes Thanksgiving and Christmas plays for you in the audience. Also, special request for the Belltown Hellcat song, please.
The Belltown Hellcat is a pussy cat. Here he comes roaring down the street.
There he's doing.
He'll regale your small genitalia. No one is getting any sleep.
There we go.
Vroom, vroom, vroom.
Leave some.
Isabella in the 253. Hey, John, I hear you're having a facelift. Yes, I am.
Oh, fun. Michael in West Seattle says, I have my own opinion about the demise of the penny, but nobody wants to hear my 2 cents.
There we go. Steve O says, technically, the penny is a British coin. The American coin is a 1-cent piece.
Aha. Where's that in your fun facts? Paul in Sammamish says, there are hardly any listeners to the John Curley Show. How are we going to turn a profit? Volume.
That's good. Hey, good one. That didn't make letter of the day. Teeny, I don't know about you
I don't have
anymore.
time.
I don't know about
She
you
was
anymore.
busy.
Dorman says, hey, there's a new slogan of the guys, KIRO Newsradio 97.3 percentage. more commercials than your average radio channel.
I don't think that's true. 425 said, I used to watch The Dukes of Hazzard and I loved it. I initially took offense to you saying never underestimate the taste of the American people, but then I thought to myself, I am listening to the John Curley Show.
True that. See that? Perfect. Mark and Graham says, I'm curious why that influencer needed a manager in the first place.
No comment. 206 says, tell John he ought to sail his boat up to the San Juans this summer. I'll gladly show him around San Juan Island.
I will never make it.
I better read this one. It's too long for you.
Okay, thank you.
George in Fremont, this is on your monologue. He said, birth weight is not destiny. Many lighter twins catch up cognitively over time, especially with supportive environments. Isaac Newton was a preemie baby at only 3 pounds. I think he did okay. Albert Einstein was born underweight and with developmental delays. He later revolutionized physics theory of relativity.
Yeah, how was his sister? What was his IQ of his sister? Let's see. Kate Wilson wins. Craig and Puyallup says, and John Curley will forever be known as the father of Seattle socialism. Thanks again, John. Okay. Oh, really? I'm going to take the blame for this?
Ellie in Seattle says, how does KIRO get revenue? Men will always need hair.
That's right. Volume.
That's right.
425. Holy crappy Oni. I was thinking Curly cured votes referred to curation of cured bacon until Joe pronounced the word perfectly, cured, as is a problem solved.
Nicely done. Take the next one, too. That was meant for you.
Give hell, Curly.
Nice.
Thank you.
Jeff in Port Angeles says, my opinion is that Seattle just elected AOC. I'm glad I don't live in Seattle. Talk about liberal, liberal, liberal. You might as well just put a body bag on every corner. Have a lovely holiday, you guys.
Wow.
Sheesh.
Wow. Jim Walsh, Don in Tacoma says, how does it cost $17,000 to educate a preschooler?
206, 100% of Washington residents are sick of hearing about politics.
Wow, 100%?
Sheesh.
Gotta get out of it. Fernando in Seattle says, as long as Trump is in office, the Republicans are going to be losing bigly, especially if in this state. But respect to Walsh to actually explain and push back on John.
Ooh.
All right.
Amy in Redmond said, give me a moderate, non-fundamentalist Republican to vote for.
All right.
And now it is time for the
So
winner
many
of
others
the
we
day.
couldn't get to. Thank you, Teeny.
This comes to us from Shane on a sailboat on Friday Harbor. John, I actually had a spit take when I first heard that ad after you'd been blank canned.
Yeah.
I love it. It was hilarious to hear it again. As a previous know-it-all contestant and someone who drove their dual sport motorcycle of questionable legality when I was supposed to be working to find Seahawks tickets that you hid and showed up too late for, but you bought me dinner anyways, I salute you, sir. Thank you for keeping local radio great.
Thank you, Shane, there in your sailboat in Friday Harbor. That's a nice memory.
I know.
I think I remember that.
How about that?
Questionable legality.
That's all she wrote.
That's good stuff. Didn't rise, huh? Just touching lives.
Yes.
In between commercial breaks. Front door. Here comes Nate checking traffic, Nathan.
All righty, Puyallup eastbound 512 at Benson Drive, just over the Puyallup River Bridge. We've got a 3-car collision in your left lane, and you're bumper to bumper to the South Hill curve. Renton to Puyallup, 40 minutes as we begin to clear out along the Valley Freeway. Seattle to Federal Way, 35 minutes. North 5 heading into Seattle, bumper to bumper from the Michigan curve in the downtown. South 5, you're packed from 85th down to I-90. Seattle to Everett has improved to 45 minutes. You're still slow, though, from the U District through North Linwood, but we're picking up the pace here. Bellevue to Everett still hanging on at 55 minutes. Scattered slowing from Bellevue to Alderwood, extra thick through Kirkland. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
You never know what's in store each morning once you hit the road.
We've got a major traffic alert in effect right now.
Well, you're getting ready every morning. Make us part of your routine.
What morning, huh?
Yeah. Got off to an early start.
Just tell your smart speaker to play KIRO News Radio or stream us on the app.
Both directions of I-5 are closed.
We'll help you get where you're going faster.
Maybe bail at 512.
KIRO News Radio. We're on your smart speaker, the app, and 97.3 FM.
Did you know that nearly half the homes in Western Washington are not properly insulated or not insulated at all? That may be the reason why your home is way too hot in the summer and way too cold in the winter. It may also be the reason that your energy bills are sky high. Right now, Insulation Northwest is offering a free inspection of your home's insulation. This is a $199 value and it's absolutely free, no obligation. Just call today and Insulation Northwest will arrange a time that works with your schedule. We'll perform a thorough exam of your home's insulation and give you the advice you need to start saving thousands. Everyone who calls today will also receive a free infrared screening of your home using the latest technology. This will help reveal any hidden flaws in your home's protective energy blanket. What do you have to lose? It only takes about an hour and it's absolutely free. Call Insulation Northwest today, the real insulation company.
InsulationNorthwest.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Underestimating the trucking industry is one of the biggest mistakes I see victims and other lawyers make. Trucking companies have an army of lawyers and experts who act quickly after an accident to protect the company. Only an experienced trucking accident lawyer can navigate the complicated federal and state laws to protect your rights. If you or a loved one has been injured in a trucking accident, call Davis Law Group today for a free consultation or get my free book on trucking accident law at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
There's 2 types of people.
The G and Ursula Show.
The ones that use a washcloth or a Lupa sponge.
Okay. Weekdays 9 to noon.
The other are bare hand bandits. They just grab the soap. Growing up, my delegation, we always use washcloths.
Hate to break it to you, but I think my hand's going to be much better than this brush.
Yeah, what? I am uncomfortable.
Really?
Rubbing all over myself without there being a buffer.
Watch live on YouTube and the KIRO Newsradio app.
Your old furnace ain't nice, and your toes are like ice.
DayandNight.net.
This month, Day and Night gives you a free furnace with the installation of an AC or heat pump.
If you're not sure your furnace will make it through another winter, call us to install a proper, long-lasting, efficient heating system backed by our lifetime workmanship guarantee, so you won't be left out in the cold.
Install an AC or heat pump and get a free furnace from Day and Night Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
DayandNight.net.
Guys, it's time to know your numbers and what they mean. And right now, Revive Men's Health is offering a $400 comprehensive wellness panel for just $99. Free if you start treatment. Offer ends November 30th. Book today at ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Must medically qualify. Terms apply. Contact us for full offer details.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. North.